Chapter 91. Zhou Yun brought them around in a big circle, introducing them to some of the school's buildings along the way. Half an hour later, he brought the two of them to the reception. Even so, they had only toured a small part of the school. It was not easy to tour a school of 30,000 mu. When they arrived at the reception, there was no difference from the last time Fang Ping came. This time, the new students were assigned to their dormitories, so there were many people there. There was more than one staff member. More than a dozen registration counters were all working. The woman Fang Ping met last time was also busy registering students and distributing keys. At that moment, the woman had just finished registering someone. She raised her head and moved. She spotted Fang Ping immediately and greeted him with a smile. "Student Fang Ping, come here." Zhou Yun was stunned. He turned his head to look at Fang Ping and asked softly, "You know someone? I came to school early. It was this auntie who helped me stay in the school hotel last time." "Oh, it's good to know someone. You don't have to wait in line." Zhou Yun was happy to hear that. He led Fang Ping and Guixing toward the hotel. "Instructor, don't we have to wait in line? It should be my turn, right?" A new student in front of the woman could not help but ask when Fang Ping and the others arrived. The woman glanced at the senior student beside him. The boy who was leading the way smiled and said, 138 calories. The woman understood and said lightly, "According to the school's rules, powerhouses go first." "Ah?" The new student was stunned. He did not expect such a reply. The woman ignored him. It was true that MCMAU students were geniuses. A vitality of 138 calories would make them geniuses among geniuses in normal martial arts universities. However, in Magic City Martial Arts University, there were many martial artist students. Who cared about these people? Not everyone needed to be courteous and flatter. So what if these students were not satisfied? This was not the woman's nonsense. This was the school's rules. Powerhouses go first. If he was unhappy, he would work hard to increase his vitality and break through ranks. If he really wanted to argue with the woman at the reception, this kind of person would not go far. The woman was not afraid of this kind of student. She did not care about the new student's mood. When Fang Ping came over, the woman said with a smile, "Student Fang Ping, did you like the hotel? If you're not satisfied, we accept complaints here." "Thank you, Auntie. I'm very satisfied. I don't want to leave." "That's good." The woman smiled again and said, "I helped you take a look before. The dormitory allocation is not bad, so I didn't change it." As she spoke, she did not need to check her ID and acceptance letter like everyone else. Instead, she entered her information directly into the computer. Soon, the woman handed over a key and said, "New Students Area 1, number 86. Fang Ping hurriedly took the key, but he was a little confused. Magic City Martial Arts University's dormitory allocation seemed a little different from what he had imagined. Beside him, Zhou Yun said enviously, "You're directly assigned to the first zone. I remember when I first came last year, I was assigned to the 6th zone." The woman curled her lips and said, "You're already a senior, do you still need me to teach you? The more capable you are, the more you'll be treated. Isn't it only right that student Fang Ping is assigned to the same zone?" Zhou Yun didn't get angry. He smiled and nodded. "That's true. Auntie Zhang, can you help me with this new student as well?" As he spoke, he pointed at Guixing, who was still in a daze. The woman didn't refuse. She took the fatty's ID and acceptance letter and keyed in the information. Then, he pursed his lips and said, "Zone 1, Room 199. TSK. Zhou Yun clicked his tongue and turned to look at Guixing. He smiled faintly and said, "How much money did your old man stuff in?" Guixing's face flushed red. He said softly, "No, isn't this the normal allocation?" "Ha!" Zhou Yun laughed. A few of the senior students beside him couldn't help but laugh too. Before Zhou Yun could speak, someone laughed and said, "Zone 1 has a total of 200 rooms. The first 100 rooms are allocated based on admission results. The next 100 rooms are allocated based on sponsorship. Do you know what sponsorship money is? I'm willing to bet that your family has sponsored at least 200,000. 200,000? I don't think his vitality is high. It's at least 300,000. Has the price of the houses in Zone 1 gone up? Many of the senior students began to discuss unscrupulously, and the little fatty's face had long since turned red from embarrassment. It was bad enough that he went through the back door, but it had been discovered, and everyone knew about it. The woman saw them joking and said impatiently, "What are you arguing about? Money is also a resource. What's wrong with making use of resources? Besides, the sponsorship money is used on you guys in the end. This is called balancing the rich and the poor. How else would the poor students get their resources?" When she said that, everyone stopped laughing. MCMU might be very realistic and snobbish, but it was relatively fair to its students. If you had the ability, you would get the resources. If you had no ability, they would try not to let you fall behind too much. Money could be spent on dormitory allocation. It was normal to start with 200,000. Room 100 was sponsored more than 20 million every year, sometimes as high as 40 to 50 million. What was the money used for? Just like the woman said, if it was used on MCMU students, the school would not take the money because the school was not short of it. Of course, tens of millions was very little to martial artists, and it was even less for the average person. However, this was also a gesture to tell the rich kids that they could spend money in exchange for better treatment than others. It also told the poor students that the school would not take the money. As long as they worked hard, the money would be theirs. So what if they lived a little worse? As long as their ability improved, they could have everything. Therefore, everyone laughed and did not take it seriously when these rich kids went through the back door and used sponsorship money to get a better living environment. Some things, as long as it was done openly and transparently, the students would have a balance in their hearts. If it was done behind the scenes, people like Guishing living in Zone 1 would have caused a lot of dissatisfaction. Zhou Yun did not tease Guishing anymore. He got the key and said immediately, "Let's go. I'll show you around the dormitory. There's nothing else for me to do. The school will make arrangements. Auntie, I'll leave first. I'll come see you when I'm free." Fang Ping greeted the woman. Regardless of whether the woman thought highly of him because of his ability, she was very friendly to him. The woman smiled and nodded. She did not exchange pleasantries and continued to register the others. After Fang Ping and the others had left, the student who registered after Fang Ping asked unwillingly, "Teacher, how high was that student's vitality?" Even if he acknowledged that powerhouses were prioritized, he did not know Fang Ping's situation at all. Of course, he was not satisfied. "Twice honed." The woman did not even raise her head. She said quickly, "Zone 3, room 268. The student who asked the question was no longer in the mood to listen to his dormitory allocation. He actually knew about twice honing, unlike Guishing who knew nothing. He did not know how to be considered twice honed, but he knew that he had to break through 150 calories and above. MCMU was indeed a place where geniuses gathered. It was easy to meet a genius who broke through 150 calories. The student was no longer dissatisfied. He knew how difficult it was to achieve a vitality of 138 calories. If the other party could achieve 150 calories and above, it did not matter if he was a genius or had a good family background. There was no need to be dissatisfied. "Senior Zhou, are there any differences in the dormitory allocation?" After exiting the reception area, Fang Ping started asking questions as they walked. The new students' dormitory area is divided into 4 zones. Each zone has 200 suites. Zone 1 has a single room, Zone 2 has 2 people in a room, Zone 3 has 3 people in a room, and Zone 4 has 4 people in a room. It can accommodate 2,000 people in total. Each zone will have some empty rooms for later allocation. You'll be assigned to Zone 1, which is a single room. A single room. Fang Ping was speechless. MCMU was really rich. They had provided 800 rooms for just over 1,000 students. Zhou Yun smiled faintly. It's normal. It doesn't cost much to build a house. Also, NCMAU's students have land developers who help the school build houses for free. As for the boundaries, MCMAU is 30,000 mu in size. There are only about 6,000 students. Do you think there's a shortage of space? They did not lack money or space. The houses were all built for free. If it were not to make the students feel inferior, it would not be a problem for all of them to be single rooms. The reason they did not do this was to motivate the students to improve themselves. The dormitory area was located on the east side of the school. It was not only the new students' area but also the dormitories of the other years. The moment they walked into the dormitory area, Fang Ping realized that his standards were too low. This was not the dormitory area he had imagined. It was a beautiful, high-end villa area. There were no high-rise dormitory buildings. They were all 2- or 3-story townhouses. On both sides of the road, there were lush trees and lush flowers. The terraced houses were built around a man-made lake, forming a circle. Fang Ping was speechless. Guixing was also dumbfounded. It feels similar to my home. The school is so rich. Judging from his tone, Fatty's family was obviously rich too. That was normal. To sponsor a dormitory with 200,000 or 300,000, one would not be able to do so without money. Zhou Yun was satisfied with their shock. He smiled. Martial artists sometimes lead very depressing lives. If even their dormitories are cramped, they'll go crazy sooner or later. The school gives us such a dormitory environment to help us adjust our mentality and emotions. Of course, only MCMAU can do this. Even Capital City Martial Arts University is not as generous as us. Zhou Yun was obviously very proud of MCMAU. When he mentioned Capital City Martial Arts University, he tried his best to belittle them, even though he was not disdainful. As he spoke, Zhou Yun and the others walked toward the new students' area. The new students' area was located in the southeast corner of the dormitory area. The other areas were very quiet and had very few people, but the new students' area was crowded. Along the way, Fan Ping and the others met other new students who were also there to report. However, they were not familiar with each other. Unless they met a senior student that Zhou Yun was familiar with, no one chatted with each other. A few minutes later, Fan Ping reached his room. Area 1, Room 86. Room 86 was on the second floor. The new students' area was a 2-story row of rooms. The first 100 were upstairs, and the ones below were 101 to 200. The overall layout was still in the form of university dormitories and hotel rooms. There was a passageway with 50 rooms on each side. Fan Ping's room was room 85 and 87 on the left, and room 15 on the opposite side. At this moment, some of the other rooms were occupied, and some were not. The rooms around Fan Ping were very quiet. No one should have arrived yet. When he opened the room, Fan Ping could not be bothered to be shocked. Although it was called a room, it was actually a complete high-end, well-furnished room. There was a bedroom, a living room, a training room, a study, a bathroom, and even a kitchen. Fan Ping roughly estimated that the entire room was not smaller than 120 square meters. This was a house for one person. It was just a new student's dormitory. MCMAU could no longer be described as rich and imposing. If the other areas had this layout, even if it was Area 4 with 4 people, the living environment would not be bad. Families with 5 or 6 people would be squeezed into a house that was less than 100 square meters. In the room, there was a bed, a cabinet, a sofa. All of these things were present. It was also very clean. The only thing lacking was some daily necessities, which the students had to buy themselves. Fan Ping could not help but think about how his parents were worried about his food and accommodation, and how they urged him to unite his roommates. "Do I have roommates?" Fan Ping complained. "I'm the only one in this room. I don't have any roommates. I wonder if the people next door count." After looking around the room, Fan Ping did not care anymore. Zhou Yun walked him downstairs and left, but before he left, he gave each of them a schedule for the following days. The new students would report in the morning. They would be given a certain amount of time to buy daily necessities and say goodbye to their parents. At 3 p.m., everyone would gather at Field 1. There were 7 or 8 fields in MCMAU. Fang Ping did not look at the map carefully. There was only one task today. Gather. At 8 a.m. the next day, everyone would gather at the building of practical training. Fang Ping knew that this was for the school assignment. After that, there were no other arrangements. They would wait for the assignment to be completed before making arrangements. It was a very simple schedule. Buy some daily necessities. Also, go to the hotel and bring your luggage here. The school's living environment was not bad. It was also convenient on campus, so Fang Ping did not plan to continue staying at the hotel. Right, I seem to have forgotten something? Fang Ping suddenly remembered something. After a while, he mumbled, "Don't I have to pay school fees?" He remembered that the admission notice did not mention that it was free. If he remembered correctly, there was a 10,000 registration fee. Why did he not pay this time? Fang Ping shook his head and did not care anymore. If they did not want to pay, then so be it. Maybe MC Mayu did not care about this small amount of fees and did not want them? Fang Ping was about to go out to buy daily necessities when there was a knock on his door. "Is anyone there?" "I'm from the dorm next door." Obviously, someone had already settled in and was coming out to meet the new students. Although the school had not been assigned and the class instructors had not been assigned, the possibility of being assigned to the first 100 rooms in Zone 1 was very high. The first 100 rooms were based on the admission results. Fang Ping was able to enter the first 100 rooms because of his 149 calories vitality. Fang Ping even suspected that the school already knew that he was twice honed, which was why they had arranged for him to enter the first 100 rooms. Otherwise, although his vitality was not low, his results in cultural studies and general studies were average. There were 52 martial artists in Magic City Martial Arts University. 9 of them were twice honed and had a vitality of more than 150 calories. Were there no twice honed students? Based on the exam results, there was no way he could enter the top 100. Chapter 92. As soon as the door opened, Fang Ping had the urge to punch someone. Handsome. A handsome guy stood outside the door. He was not the fair-skinned type, but the kind of handsome that was full of energy and vitality. "Hello, classmate. I'm Fu Changding from the room opposite yours. I hope I'm not disturbing you." Fu Changding spoke energetically, a bright smile on his face the whole time. Fang Ping felt that he should be an endorser for a toothpaste commercial with his white teeth. Fang Ping glanced at him. He looked at his face first, then frowned slightly. "Room 15? Yes, I just arrived too. Classmate, I haven't asked your name yet." Fu Changding's smile did not falter. "Fang Ping." Fang Ping introduced himself, then stepped aside and said, "Come in and we'll talk. Sorry to disturb you." Fu Changding was very gentlemanly. He smiled politely and stepped into the room. The rooms were all the same, so there was nothing to see. When Fang Ping invited him to sit, Fu Changding smiled. "Fang Ping, where are you from? From your accent, you seem to be from Nanjiang, right?" "Yes, I'm from Sun City, Nanjiang." "What about you?" "I'm from Capital City." Before Fang Ping could ask, Fu Changding said, "Capital City Martial Arts University is too close to my home, so I came to Magic City Martial Arts University." As he said that, Fu Changding smiled. "Sun City, Nanjiang. I think I've heard of it once, right? You know Wang Jinyang. That should be his name, right? Do you know him?" Fang Ping was a little surprised. Was old Wang that famous? Old Wang had just broken through to rank 3. In Magic City and Capital City, there should be many rank 3 students, right? Nanjiang was just an underdeveloped province. How did old Wang get so famous? After some thought, Fang Ping nodded. "Yes, I do. He's from my high school, 1 year ahead of me." "You really know each other?" That's right, Sun City isn't that big. It's normal for you to know each other. Geniuses knew other geniuses. That was normal. Fan Ping thought for a while and asked, You know Wang Jinyang too? I've heard of him. Fu Changding finally found a topic. He said with a smile, Your high school senior has been in the limelight recently. He just broke through to rank 3 not long ago and has been testing his saber everywhere. Testing his saber? You don't know? Fu Changding was a little surprised. He could not tell Fan Ping's vitality at the moment, but if he stayed in room 86, he would at least be at the level of a twice-honed. Fu Changding even felt that this fellow's vitality was higher than he had imagined. How could such a person have no background? How could he not know about this when he left Sun City with Wang Jinyang? Also, Sun City wasn't that big, so why were there so many monsters here? Could it be that there was another Grandmaster hidden in Sun City? Fu Changding had a lot of doubts in his heart, but he knew that it was not a good idea to speak too deeply with a mere acquaintance, so he did not ask. Instead, he took the initiative to explain. Wang Jinyang might have completed honing his torso bones. He might be trying to break through to rank 4. However, he had broken through too quickly. The students of Nanjiang Martial Arts University were no longer able to give him any pressure. Since the beginning of August, Wang Jinyang had been traveling around with his saber, challenging some peak rank 3 martial artists. A few days ago, Wang Jinyang happened to go to Capital City. Of course, I didn't go to see it. At that time, I was preparing to come to Shanghai to register. He went to the capital? Yeah. Although rank 3 martial artists aren't considered too strong in Capital City, they're not weak either. When he first arrived in Capital City, he challenged 8 martial arts training classes in one day. These martial arts training classes all have middle-ranked martial artists in charge, and many of them are peak rank 3 martial artists. Also, martial arts training classes are usually set up by large corporations, government agencies, and martial arts universities. Wang Jinyang was very courageous. He challenged their martial arts training classes first. After that, the people behind these classes will definitely not let it go. Middle-ranked martial artists won't make a move, but the powerhouses among the peak rank 3 martial artists will definitely make a move. He challenged 8 martial arts training classes in one day. What could Fan Ping say? There was nothing he could say. Damn it, old Wang was amazing. Also, how long had it been since he broke through to rank 3? In mid-April, old Wang broke through to rank 3, and it was only September now. Breaking through to rank 4 from rank 3 was definitely a big hurdle, the kind that was very, very big. However, old Wang was now traveling around, challenging powerhouses to pressure Fan Ping. Obviously, he was facing a bottleneck and was looking for a breakthrough. It had only been 5 months, and Fan Ping could not help but admire him from the bottom of his heart. He's not in danger, is he? Fan Ping could not help but ask. Fu Changding looked at him deeply and smiled. He's not in great danger, but he's embarrassed all the major forces. The peak rank 3 powerhouses will keep making a move. Unless he can defeat all the rank 3 powerhouses, he'll definitely suffer if he loses. However, I have to say that people like Wang Jinyang are also a role model for our generation. He was born ordinary, and the martial arts university he went to was also an ordinary martial arts university. He was able to become rank 3 in his freshman year, start challenging powerhouses everywhere in his sophomore year, and push his way north. Just talking about it is inspiring. It is inspiring. It's a pity he didn't come to the south. Before Fan Ping could finish, Fu Changding laughed and said, It's not like he hasn't been to the south before. I heard people say that he came to Magic City when he was peak rank 1 and defeated all the rank 1 students in Magic City. A rank 2 from East Sino Nation Normal University made a move, and in the end, he was disgraced and defeated. The other schools did not dare to let their rank 2 fight and embarrass themselves. It was not until he came to Magic City Martial Arts University that a rank 2 student made a move and injured him. Defeating all the rank 1 students in Magic City shows how domineering he is. Domineering? Fan Ping found it hard to associate the soft-spoken old Wang with domineering. It was also hard to imagine that he had defeated all the rank 1 martial artists in Magic City. His impression of old Wang was not weak, and he was a genius, but that was only relative to Nanjiang, not the whole of Sino nation. However, he had defeated Magic City first, and now he was heading north, preparing to defeat all the rank 3 martial artists in the north. Was this something that could be described with just a little fame in Nanjiang? Fan Ping was deeply shocked. The scene of old Wang carrying a saber and pushing his way through appeared in his mind, and he could not help but feel his blood boil. Fu Changding had been paying attention to Fan Ping. When he felt his vitality fluctuate, his pupils shrank slightly. Twice honed? No. Maybe even higher. 3 hone. Maybe not thrice honed, but he was definitely close to it. How did 2 young monsters come out of a rundown place like Sun City? Very quickly, Fan Ping calmed his vitality. He raised his head to look at Fu Changding and smiled. Classmate Fu, don't call me that. We're all classmates and neighbors. If it was a normal university, you could call me Old Fu, Old Chang, or Old Ding. Me? Old Elder? Old Ding? The corners of Fan Ping's eyes twitched. He laughed dryly. I'll call you Changding then. You must be a martial artist now, right? Fu Changding did not deny it. He smiled brightly. I'm a martial artist, but being a martial artist doesn't mean anything. I may be rank 1, but if we were to fight, I might not be stronger than you, Fan Ping. You're too humble. What am I? I'm not even a martial artist, Fan Ping. Let's not be humble. Fu Changding suddenly laughed. Now that we've entered a martial arts university, there's no need to hide it. This is just the beginning. There's not much meaning in differentiating between the strong and the weak. I'm here to see my new neighbor, and also to see how everyone is doing. I didn't expect to meet you so soon. Originally, I was a little proud, but now I realize that I was just a frog in a well. You should know about the afternoon gathering, right? I know. Fan Ping nodded. He could tell that Fu Changding knew more than he did. He could not help but ask. The gathering is to give a speech to the new students? Or is it the start of term ceremony? Both and neither. Fu Changding smiled. He was not in a hurry to continue. Instead, he glanced at the room and smiled. You didn't prepare any water? Let's go. I see that you haven't bought anything yet. Let's talk as we walk. I'll buy something too. He did not want to get to know the other students. There was a student in room 86 whose vitality was higher than the average twice honed. Geniuses were not everywhere. It was enough for him to get to know Fan Ping. Fan Ping did not refuse. He closed the door and walked out with Fu Changding. As they walked, Fu Changding said, The afternoon gathering can be considered as a demonstration of our strength. Tomorrow, we'll enter the building of practical training and start choosing schools. Once we enter the building, though, everyone has to understand who they can and can't offend. The afternoon is the time for us to get to know each other. It's also the time for the instructors to observe how the students are doing, which students they're optimistic about, and who to focus on the next day. Everyone will be prepared today. Tomorrow, more than 1,000 people will be in the building. Even if there are surveillance cameras to observe, we still have to find good seedlings. So, during the afternoon gathering, show your strength to the fullest. Now is not the time to hide. A good instructor can save us a lot of time and energy. Fan Ping understood now. Simply put, they would pick out some of the best students in the afternoon. These people would be the focus of observation. Tomorrow, the instructors would observe them in depth. They would be able to see who had the talent to manage a team and who had the strongest combat ability. They would leave one night for everyone to prepare. This was probably a test of the students' ability to organize and judge. Whether someone would be able to organize a team of 10 or even 100 people in one night was a test of their ability. Judging who they could offend and who they could not offend was also very important. Li Qingzi said that there were 400 people, so there was no need for everyone to fight. However, if they did not show their strength, How would they be valued by the instructors? Fan Ping was almost certain that someone would challenge opponents of the same strength tomorrow. The choice of opponent would depend on their judgment. Defeating someone of the same strength would definitely be a bonus. If they stayed in the building and did not move just to secure a spot, even if they entered the school of weaponry, they would not be outstanding. After walking and chatting with Fu Changding, the two of them arrived at the school's supermarket. Although it was called the school's supermarket, it was bigger than the hypermarkets outside. It was not too expensive either. After chatting with Fan Ping along the way, Fu Changding felt that they were familiar with each other. He smiled and said, "Fan Ping, are you interested in going all out tomorrow?" "What do you mean?" "This time, there are 52 rank 1 martial artists and 9 twice-honed potential martial artists. Of course, there might be people who broke through during the summer break. But there won't be too many. After all, coming to the school saves a lot of resources. Those who have twice-honed can be considered to have just entered rank 1, right? 70 rank 1 martial artists. There are so many rank 1 martial artists. It's not good to not stand out. Opportunities only favor the strong and those who are prepared." Fan Ping asked in a low voice as he picked something. "What do you plan to do?" "I think my strength is passable, and my combat ability is not bad. Not all martial artists can fight. What about you?" "I'm alright. I haven't really fought before, so I'm not sure." "You've cultivated combat techniques?" "Yes." "Then there's no problem. Most of these people don't cultivate combat techniques in order to break through as martial artists. After all, the early stage is for the sake of entering the university, not for actual combat." Fu Changding knew that Fan Ping had cultivated combat techniques and was very satisfied. He said softly, "How about we team up tomorrow and challenge this group of martial artists?" "One for you, one for me. We'll take turns." Fu Changding was very confident. He smiled and said, "One person won't do. Even if we all fight one-on-one, our vitality won't be able to recover and we won't be able to hold on. If it's 2 people, it'll be no problem. We'll go round by round and defeat all of them. Even if we lose in the end, we'll be famous. We won't have to worry about the instructors looking down on us. Let me tell you, the difference in strength between MC Mayu's instructors is huge. I don't care about rank 4 or rank 5. I want at least rank 6. There are strong and weak rank 6 instructors too. Some instructors are close to Grandmaster. If these peak master martial artists look up to you, you'll be shocked by the benefits." Fu Changding said it casually, but Fan Ping was surprised. "Just the 2 of us?" "Yes." "Who asked me to look up to you first?" Fan Ping did not know whether to laugh or cry. Could it not be so ambiguous? After thinking for a moment, Fan Ping asked, "Do you know about the other martial artist students?" "No need. Rank 1 martial artists are just SOSO at most. I'll be honest. I'm a twice-honed rank 1, and now my right leg has been honed. If I wasn't confident, I wouldn't have dared to talk to anyone about this. A twice-honed right leg honed. Such a person had the right to be proud. A twice-honed vitality would increase, which meant that one's explosive endurance was strong. Also, the bones in his body had been honed twice. His endurance and resistance were stronger than the average martial artists. The leg bones were more lethal than the hand bones. This way, if Fu Changding's combat techniques were not weak and his strength was extremely strong, he would have no problem beating up a casual rank 2 martial artist. Fan Ping looked at him. After a while, he asked, "How's your recovery?" "Pills. I brought 3 rank 1 vitality pills. I'll finish them. Aren't you afraid that I'll drag you down?" Room 86. "This means that I wasn't too strong during the assessment, but now I can't tell how strong I am. I'm willing to take a gamble." "Okay." This time, it was Fu Changding's turn to be stunned. He laughed and said, "Looks like you're stronger and more confident than I thought. So, it's a deal? What if we get surrounded?" "No way. Everyone's proud. Martial artists aren't easy to organize. At most, there'll be 3 to 5 people in a group. If there's such a group, we'll beat them up together. Do you want to find 2 more people? No need. 2 people are enough. How can we show how special we are if there are more people? If it weren't for the fact that I don't have time to rest, it'd be better if I could take the lead alone. Fan Ping did not ask any more questions. After buying the items, he smiled faintly. Let's give it a try then. I hope you're stronger than I thought. 70 people. Taking turns will kill you. Chapter 93. Since he and Fu Changding had agreed to do something big together, the 2 of them had become much closer. After putting the things they bought back into the dormitory, the 2 of them went downstairs to the cafeteria without knocking on the doors of other rooms. Magic City Martial Arts University had many cafeterias. There were 3 in the dormitory area alone. Fan Ping was a newbie. His understanding of MCMAU was limited. Although Fu Changding was also a new student, he knew a lot of things. On the way to the cafeteria, he explained. In MCMAU, accommodation is free. Food is free too. These things are not worth much. MCMAU tries its best to let the students eat well and live well. Of course, these are free because the cost is low. In MCMAU, things that did not cost money were not expensive, but things that did cost money were frighteningly expensive. Elixirs, cultivation techniques, and weapons all require a fee. Of course, it doesn't have to be money. Academic credits will do as well. When Fan Ping heard this, he asked, Do I have to pay for school fees? Fu Changding did not expect Fan Ping to care about this. He smiled and said, I'll take them in, but I'll have to wait until I've chosen my school. Each academy charges different fees, but they're all about the same, so it's not a big deal. Oh. As they spoke, the 2 of them arrived at the second canteen. MCMAU's cafeteria was also very luxurious. The layout was similar to that of the Magic Martial Hotel's dining hall. It was not the kind of simple 4-seater tables with chairs. However, there was no waiter for you to order. Instead, it adopted a self-service mode and you could order your own food. The food was good. Meat and vegetables were matched, and the aroma of the bone soup could be smelled from afar. There were also fruits and milk that could be freely used. Fu Changding explained to Fan Ping as he picked up the dishes. These are just normal ingredients. They don't have much effect on replenishing vitality. They can only satisfy your appetite. Every cafeteria had a second floor. The second floor was a place where one could order food, including some medicinal cuisine that was very helpful in replenishing one's qi and blood. If the conditions allow it, it would be better for us to eat on the second floor. Even if a martial artist did not fight, they would expend a great deal of qi and blood during normal cultivation. It was impossible to use medicinal pills to recover every time. Most of the time, he used ingredients to supplement himself. Fan Ping suspected that Fu Changding would have gone to the second floor if he had not ordered the dishes as soon as he entered. With one look, one could tell that this fellow did not come from an ordinary family. Of course, this was also nonsense. A twice-honed martial artist did not use any school resources. Even if the cost was not in the tens of millions, it would still be in the millions. Money was not the key. To be able to become a rank 1 martial artist, there would usually be a rank 4 or above martial artist in their family. Therefore, none of the new martial artists were easy to deal with. The 2 of them got their food and picked an inconspicuous place to sit down. Fu Changding was not in the mood to eat. He looked around and sighed after a while. There's actually another reason why I'm not going to Capital City Martial Arts University. He had long heard that there were many beauties in the south. But up until now, I haven't seen many girls, and all I've seen are Sai. Fu Changding was a little disappointed. It was not that there were no girls in the cafeteria, but there were not many of them. After looking around, there were barely any that caught his eye. Looks like I can only wait for the afternoon assembly. After all, only a few people come to the cafeteria to eat now. After interacting with Fu Changding for a while, Fan Ping realized that the latter was a little talkative. He was the only one talking, regardless of whether you responded or not. At first glance, he thought that he was an elegant young master. Now that he looked at it, it was true that his family background was not bad, but he was clearly not reserved. Of course, it also depended on the person. Soon, Fan Ping found out that Fu Changding was not just a chatterbox. When he returned to the dormitory after eating, the door to room 85 was open. As his next-door neighbor, Fan Ping passed by and stood in the corridor to greet him. After a brief conversation with the slightly effeminate guy, he found out his name, Cui Jian. The other party was not too enthusiastic, and was rather calm. Fan Ping said a few words and did not say anything else. Fu Changding, who had been extremely enthusiastic to Fan Ping, also introduced himself mildly before remaining silent. He was enthusiastic to Fan Ping because he did not see through him at first glance. Cui Jian, on the other hand, was seen through immediately. His vitality should have exceeded 150 calories, but it was definitely not at 180 calories. It was hard to say if someone who was not twice honed could achieve that. An aspiring martial artist like this was very far away from Fu Changding. The other party was not too enthusiastic, so naturally, Fu Changding would not say much. 2:30 p.m. Fan Ping was tidying up his room when Fu Changding's voice came from outside the door. Fan Ping, it's time to assemble. Coming, Fan Ping answered. He tidied up, opened the door, and walked out. At that moment, Fu Changding was not the only one in the corridor. There were 100 students living upstairs, and many of them had left their rooms. They did not interact much. At most, they would gather and chat with the 2 or 3 people next door like Fu Changding and Fan Ping. It was the first day of school, and no one was prepared, so it was impossible to make friends. Fan Ping had just come out when he heard a loud laugh from his right. Fu Changding, what a coincidence! You're here too! Fan Ping turned his head and saw a well-built, tall boy staring at Fu Changding. From the tone of his voice, it did not seem like it was between friends. Fu Changding did not seem surprised. He already knew that this person was at Magic City Martial Arts University. He tilted his head and smiled faintly. Tang Songting, you didn't go to Capital City Martial Arts University, but came to Magic City Martial Arts University to be tortured? Haha, it's not up to you, Fu Changding, to decide whether I'm tortured or not. Tang Songting huffed lightly and said in an unfriendly tone. It's good that you came to Magic City Martial Arts University. I was afraid you wouldn't come. You sure talk big. Fu Changding snorted and ignored him. He tilted his head and said to Fan Ping, I'm a high school classmate. He's been suppressed by me for 3 years. He thinks he can turn things around just because he scored a few more points than me in his cultural studies during the Gaokao. Isn't that funny? He did not wait for Fan Ping to reply. He strode forward and said, Let's go. This kind of person becomes arrogant once he succeeds. There's no need to pay attention to him. His voice was not soft. It was obvious that Fu Changding did not intend to say it as a private matter. Tang Songting, who was nearby, heard it too. His expression changed. He and Fu Changding attended the same high school, which was also one of the most famous high schools in Capital City. Fu Changding was not lying when he said that he had suppressed him for 3 years. Capital City's high schools were different from Sun City No. 1 High School. The pressure of competition there was higher, and there were all kinds of pills as rewards. There was also a professional martial arts class. There were monthly assessments, and if the results were good, the rewards were generous. Tang Songting and Fu Changding were the best of the best. Both of them had fallen out many times over the pills. They had really fallen out. Even for families like theirs, the rewards from the school were worth fighting for. The fact that Fu Changding could become a rank 1 martial artist at this age, and a twice-honed martial artist at that, had a lot to do with the rewards from the high school. Tang Songting was slightly weaker than Fu Changding, but during the Gaokao, he did better than Fu Changding in his cultural studies and general studies. He was assigned room number 8, which was much closer to the front than Fu Changding. Even so, Tang Songting did not think that he could suppress Fu Changding. He might lose, but he would not lose. Seeing Fu Changding walk past him without even looking at him, Tang Songting snorted coldly. "We'll see. I'll wait for you." Fu Changding did not care about him at all. During the Gaokao, he had just become a martial artist and had not honed his bones. During the holidays, he had finished honing his right leg, and his left leg was almost there. As for Tang Songting, in order to become a martial artist, he had broken through in a hurry before he had reached twice honing. Even if he had also finished honing a limb, Fu Changding would not take it too seriously. In fact, among the 52 martial artists in MCMU this time, there were no more than 10 who were twice honed. That was for sure. Maybe even fewer. There were also very few who had completed the honing of a limb after twice honing. Fu Changding was not afraid of anyone. The others heard the tense conversation between the two, but no one expressed their opinion. They were just there to watch the show and to keep an eye on Fu Changding and Tang Songting. These two, one in room number 8 and the other in room number 15, were both martial artists. There was not much difference between the first 50 rooms. Everyone was a martial artist, and the exam did not test them on actual combat. The actual allocation of rooms was based on the results of cultural studies and other aspects, which did not mean much. Martial artists who scored high in cultural studies would be ranked higher. The students in room number 1 might not be stronger than the students in room number 50 in actual combat. After number 50, there were also martial artists and twice-honed students. However, these people had either broken through to martial artists not long ago, or they had not broken through to twice-honed. Although their status was similar to that of martial artists, they were still slightly weaker than martial artists in a real fight. Among the group of geniuses, everyone naturally paid attention to those who were more talented. Fan Ping stayed in room number 86, which was near the back, so not many people paid attention to him. There was no point in being high profile at this time. Other than wasting time with words, there was no benefit. If they really wanted to show off, they should be in front of the instructors and school leaders. These people controlled the school's allocation of resources and could benefit from them. There were no idiots among MCMAU students, and Tang Songting was no exception. He had provoked Fu Changding out of habit. He and Fu Changding had been enemies for years, and he could not help himself when he saw him. After Fu Changding left, Tang Songting did not say anything and walked downstairs quietly. The others saw that there was no more drama to watch, so they all walked toward Field 1. Field 1. MCMAU's field was huge, and there were spectator seats. Fan Ping and the other new students had not arrived yet, but there were already many people in the spectator seats. There were teachers and students. As the new students arrived in 2s and 3s, someone in the spectator seats laughed softly. "Last year, we were treated like monkeys. This year, we finally got to enjoy watching a monkey show. It's not bad." "Shut up, you." Keep an eye out for good seedlings among the new students. See if you can recruit them into the club. The person who spoke earlier pursed his lips and pointed to a few people not far away. "The people from the Martial Arts Society are here too. We won't get the good seedlings. They'll pick the leftovers." At the mention of the Martial Arts Society, everyone fell silent. Their gazes could not help but turn to the few people not far away. Not far away. Qin Fengqing was a little impatient. He crossed his arms in front of his chest and frowned. "I'm honing my torso. Can't you just recruit new students? Why must I do it? Is the president afraid that I'll finish honing my torso and challenge his position? Is he purposely interrupting my honing?" Sitting next to him was a pretty girl. She chuckled when she heard what he said. "Tell that to the president. I asked you to come because you're the only one of the vice presidents in school. Most of the other rank 3 members aren't in school either. You've just finished your mission. You should rest for a few days. Don't cultivate all day. That's not good." "Nonsense," Qin Fengqing scolded. His tone was slightly irritated. I think the president is just jealous of me. If you say so. But the president has already achieved rank 4. Are you sure the president is afraid of you? Rank 4. Qin Fengqing pouted and muttered. What's so great about rank 4? I'll achieve rank 4 soon too. Pfft. Qin Fengqing did not argue with her. His tone was still irritated. Do you know about Wang Jinyang? At the mention of Wang Jinyang, the few people from the Martial Arts Society fell silent. The girl who spoke earlier gritted her teeth and said impatiently, I know. That bastard is very arrogant now. It's best if I don't meet him. Qin Fengqing said irritably. Don't brag. Don't think that he won't beat you up just because you're a woman. It's like you weren't the one who was beaten black and blue last time. Mother Kerr, I was preparing to find him after I finished honing my torso. Now that guy is sweeping through the rank 3 martial artists in the north. The president is still looking for something for me to do. If I have the ability, I'll beat up Wang first and then kill the president. Cough, cough, cough. The few people beside him coughed hurriedly, reminding old Qin not to talk nonsense. Wang Jinyang was a public enemy. It was fine if he said it. The president was a middle-ranked martial artist and the big brother of the Martial Arts Society. If the president found out, he would definitely teach Qin Fengqing a lesson in the name of learning from each other. Meanwhile, the girl who was exposed glared at him and said angrily, I'll definitely tell the president about this. Go ahead. You only know how to suck up to the president. If you weren't having an affair with the president, I'd beat you up until your face is swollen, Qin Fengqing. The girl was angry and anxious. She said shyly, Who's having an affair with the president? Qin Fengqing curled his lips and said, Do you really think I'm blind? TSK, I saw through the two of them flirting with each other. I don't know what's wrong with your eyes. How could you like someone as ugly as the president? Isn't he just a rank 4? Even a rank 4 can't deny the fact that he's ugly. You can't find a good-looking guy, you just have to find an ugly one. Shut up. The one who said this was not the girl, nor was it anyone else. It was definitely not the president they were talking about. Instead, it was a female instructor beside him. Seeing that Qin Fengqing's words were getting more and more out of hand, the instructor scolded him and snorted softly. Qin Fengqing, since you're here, just watch quietly. If you say any more nonsense, I'll throw you out. Qin Fengqing looked embarrassed. He laughed dryly and said, I'll stop. I didn't see Teacher Min here. If I knew you were here, would I have said this? Everyone knows that Teacher Min has a whole new level of respect for our president. Minyu stared at him dangerously. She said lightly, Continue. Cough, cough. I have nothing to say. Qin Fengqing felt a dangerous aura. He quickly sat up straight and said solemnly, The new students have entered. Seeing that he had changed the topic, everyone breathed a sigh of relief. It was fine if old Qin was crazily courting death. If they allowed him to continue, they might be buried with him. Chapter 94. Field 1. Students gathered in groups of 2s and 3s. Those who came alone were mostly new students from District 1. In the other dormitory areas, groups of 4 were mostly from District 4, and groups of 3 were mostly from District 3. Fang Ping walked around. After a while, he thought of an important question and asked, How are the girls arranged? There were only 4 dormitories for new students. Where did the girls live? Fu Changding asked curiously. You didn't see them? What? There are girls in District 1. Fu Changding was shocked. What's with that look? Or do these girls look too much like men? Zone 2, Zone 3, and Zone 4 have girls living together. Zone 1 has single rooms, and the girls live alone. Martial arts universities don't differentiate between male and female dormitories. On one hand, there are fewer people, and on the other hand, martial artists don't care about trifles. Sometimes, when there are missions, guys and girls are mixed. Usually, they discuss missions and exchange cultivation experiences. It's more convenient if they're on the same level. Fang Ping was shocked. Is that so? I really didn't notice. If the girls in District 1 know about this, they'll probably fight you to the death. Fu Changding was speechless. He had seen girls when he went downstairs earlier, but Fang Ping had not noticed. Although the ones he saw were average, they had breasts. What kind of lousy eyes did Fang Ping have? Fang Ping was slightly embarrassed. He really did not notice. The main reason was that there were too few girls in District 1. Moreover, it was fast to go downstairs from the second floor, so he did not pay attention. When he saw the girls downstairs, he did not expect them to live in District 1 as well. MC Mayu really did not care about trifles. They actually mixed guys and girls. Young people at that age were full of hormones. Was it reliable to mix guys and girls? As Fang Ping thought about it, Fu Changding seemed to read his mind. He chuckled. It's a test. What? A test of determination. Martial artists need to be able to withstand loneliness. It's not like you haven't cultivated before, so you should understand. Our time is tight. We have the methods of honing, pole standing, combat techniques, and cultural classes. MC Mayu's cultural classes are the same as normal universities. Not only do they have them, but they have even more. You can imagine how busy we are and how tight our time is. You still have the mood to talk about love. If you spend too much time on this, you'll fall behind others in the next few years. Did he really think that having a girlfriend would give him motivation? It takes up a lot of your time, and the others are not weaker than you. When you rest, the others are working hard. As time goes on, you will naturally become the last. Fang Ping laughed and said, even if the school wants to test us, shouldn't they arrange for some good-looking girls? With the current situation, I'm not in the mood at all. I give it to you. You sure have guts. Most of the girls in District 1 were martial artists. One could imagine how much more effort the girls had put in compared to the boys to become martial artists. These girls were not weak and frail. If Fang Ping dared to tease them like this, he would not be surprised if he met a stronger one and got beaten black and blue. Fu Changding thought about it and agreed. That's true. No wonder the school isn't worried about us being obsessed with women. But it's strange. I remember that I know quite a few female geniuses, and they're all quite beautiful. Why haven't I met any of them this time? Female martial artists all came from good families. They ate well and took good care of themselves. There were many beauties in rich families, this was not a lie. Beauties were related to one's innate conditions, as well as their acquired environment. No matter how beautiful a girl was, if she did not have enough to eat and wear warm clothes, her skin would be rough, and her skin would be tanned. If she did not deal with the little pimples in time, after a long time, she would become ugly. Rich families were different. Their temperament, outlook, attire, and diet, all of these would affect them. As long as they had a good foundation, they would not be too ugly, unless their foundation was terrible. Also, rich families would marry beautiful women to improve their genes. After generations, their genes would improve as well. Fang Ping did not comment on Fu Changding's words. This guy looked impatient earlier. Did he look like someone who had seen beautiful women before? As the two of them chatted, it was already 3 o'clock. On the rostrum, a square-faced middle-aged man suddenly shouted, "Line up!" The field was full of students. There were no teachers or seniors to guide them. When the man shouted, "Line up!" everyone was confused at first. Then, they lined up in 2s and 3s. The lines were uneven, and some students were still standing outside the line, chatting. No one reprimanded them, and no one came down to guide them. 3 minutes later, the square-faced man shouted again, "It's time to assemble. 20 credits will be deducted for those who arrive late, or do not join the line. Seal the gate." As soon as the words, "Seal the gate," were said, a few students in training clothes quickly closed the metal mesh gate in front of the field. As for the students who were still outside the line, they all hurriedly ran into the line. At this moment, the square-faced man shouted coldly, "Stay where you are." This shout was accompanied by a suffocating pressure of chi and blood. Field 1 was huge. It was so big that thousands of people only occupied a small space in the middle. The man stood on the rostrum, more than 10 meters away from them. Those at the back were hundreds of meters away from him. Even so, when the man unleashed his vitality, the entire field seemed to be filled with a thick vitality. All the students stopped in their tracks, not daring to move. It was as if they would be smashed to pieces if they moved. So strong! Among the crowd, Fang Ping was secretly shocked. What kind of strength was this? He had seen rank 3 martial artists before. If their vitality outburst could affect the surrounding 10 meters, it would be considered good. He had not seen middle-ranked martial artists before, but according to Fang Ping's analysis, being able to affect 50 meters was already very strong. The effect mentioned here was only when one's vitality was boiling, and one could feel it. This kind of pressure, which could suppress thousands of students at once, was simply unimaginably strong. Fang Ping could even imagine that a powerhouse like this facing a regular army, just the vitality pressure alone would make many people lose their combat effectiveness, not daring to move at all. Hello, students. Let me introduce myself. I'm Huang Jing, the Dean of the School of Weaponry. The square-faced man did not use a loudspeaker or a microphone, but his words seemed to be spoken right beside everyone's ears. The Vice-Chancellor is not in school, and the 2 Vice-Chancellors have important matters to attend to. Today, I'll be hosting the new students' ceremony. Fang Ping understood what he meant. Other than the 3 Vice-Chancellors, the Dean of the School of Weaponry had the highest position in MC possibly in terms of strength. According to Wang Jinyang, MC had a total of 4 Grandmaster powerhouses. Was this Dean of the School of Weaponry one of the 4 Grandmaster powerhouses? After all, according to Fa Ping's understanding, the School of Weaponry was MCMAU's most important school. The first thing I want to teach everyone after entering MCMAU is to obey the rules. Assemble at 3, that means 3. There's no room for negotiation. For those who don't show up, those who arrive late, and those who don't line up according to the rules, 20 credits will be deducted. 20 credits. That's killing us. Someone in the crowd discussed in a low voice. It was obvious that they had some understanding of MCMAU's situation. Huang Jing seemed to have heard this too. He said lightly, "Maybe some people don't understand how important MCMAU's credits are. Let me put it simply. In MCMAU, 3 credits can be exchanged for a normal vitality pill. 10 credits can be exchanged for a rank 1 vitality pill. You can think of 1 credit as 10,000 in cash, or 30,000 in the outside world. This is because MCMAU's exchange rate is about 1/3 of the market price." At this moment, even Fang Ping could not help but be shocked. Did this not mean that 20 credits could be exchanged for 2 rank 1 vitality pills? The market price was as high as 600,000. MCMAU promises that cultivation before rank 1 will be free. On the stage, Wang Jing continued, "But this is not unlimited. All new students have 50 credits, which is all the cultivation resources before rank 1. 50 credits could be exchanged for 5 rank 1 vitality pills. The market price was 1.5 million. To be able to give students 50 credits for free was definitely not a small amount. However, when he thought of some people who had been deducted 20 credits on their first day, Fang Ping could not help but look around sympathetically. There were many people who did not line up. There were at least 100 of them. Those who did not show up or were late could be seen in the tens of people standing outside the iron gates, looking as if they had lost their parents. These people lost at the starting line, unless their families were rich and did not care. In the audience seats, Qin Fengqin curled his lips. The dean is still so talkative. What's the point of explaining? Let the new students die. Shut up. Instructor Min Yu scolded. Was this guy crazy? Did he think the dean could not hear him? Slandering him was one thing, but the president of the Martial Arts Society did not even mention him. Now, he even dared to slander the Grandmaster-level dean of the School of Weaponry. This was not the way to die. The others quickly distanced themselves from Qin Fengqin. Had this guy gone mad from the blow? He was less than 30 meters away from a grandmaster, yet he dared to talk trash. He would probably be in trouble later, right? Yes, based on their understanding of Dean Huang, it was very possible. The truth was as expected. On the rostrum, Huang Jing glanced at Qin Fengqin with a meaningful look in his eyes. Very good. Recently, he had been complaining that MCMAU had been too low-key. That kid from Nanjiang Martial Arts University dared to conquer the North. It was not impossible to let Qin Fengqin try. In the audience seats, Qin Fengqin shuddered. What a strong malicious intent, the kind that was full of it. Huang Jing did not care about the students who had their credits deducted. He continued in a clear voice. MCMAU was founded not long ago. It has been 59 years since then. In these 59 years, MCMAU has produced countless students. They shed their blood and shed their lives to build the MCMAU that it is today. That's how you are now. Entering MCMAU is not for you to enjoy life, nor is it for you to be superior to others. In MCMAU, the first thing you must understand is that you will only reap what you put in. What is a martial artist? It's not bullying the weak, it's not bullying the market, it's not being a political broker. Martial artists are the protectors of this city, this country, this world. We are great, but also insignificant. It can also be said to be tragic. You don't understand now, and you don't need to understand. One day, you will understand that entering MCMAU is not the beginning of your life's peak, but the beginning of a tragedy. However, since you are not willing to be ordinary and nameless, then you should be prepared for this. Since you have entered a martial arts university, you must learn to fight to become stronger and more outstanding. Opportunities are always given to those who are prepared. Huang Jing's voice echoed throughout the entire field. MCMAU does not have too many formalities, but it does not mean that there are no rules. The rules that should be obeyed must be obeyed. Similarly, MCMAU will also give everyone a chance to perform. When it is time to perform, learn to show yourself. The entrance ceremony is not complicated, it is very simple. Everyone get to know each other. The instructors know the students, and the students know the instructors. In MCMAU, the way to get to know each other is also very simple. As Huang Jing spoke, he turned to the side and said, On the stage, there are now 12 instructors from the 4 major schools. Everyone, let's get to know the students that you will be teaching. As soon as Huang Jing's voice fell, a man in his 40s with thick eyebrows and big eyes walked out from behind him. As soon as the man walked out, a thick vitality force floated above his head. Vaguely, a smear of blood red could be seen. School of Weaponry, new student instructor, Tang Feng. Following that, another person walked out and said lightly, School of Weaponry, new student instructor, Luo Yichuan. School of Tactics and Strategy, new student instructor, Zhou Shiping. School of Social Sciences, new student instructor, Chu Xian. Everyone's vitality force was not restrained. When the 12 instructors' vitality force erupted, the new students below the stage all flushed red. Some even showed signs of losing their balance. The 12 instructors unleashed their vitality unscrupulously, oppressing the students. The new students who were not martial artists found it difficult to breathe and quickly retreated. As for the new students who had reached the martial artist realm or those who had honed their bones twice, they stood still with serious expressions. Fu Changding, who was standing beside Fang Ping, said in a low voice, The instructors have introduced themselves. It's our turn now. Huang Jing had mentioned before that this was the time for the students to get to know the instructors, and it was also the time for the instructors to get to know the students and introduce themselves. As soon as Fu Changding finished speaking, Fang Ping unleashed his vitality and walked forward against the pressure. At this moment, it was not just Fang Ping. Many others made the same choice. MCMAU new student Zhao Lei. MCMAU new student Yang Xiaoman. MCMAU new student Fang Ping. MCMAU new student Fu Changding. A series of self-introductions rang out. Not every martial artist could withstand the pressure of 12 instructors and open their mouths. A few martial artists had just taken a step forward when they opened their mouths and began to deflate. Their vitality wavered and they had to take a few steps back to avoid embarrassing themselves. In the end, there were less than 20 students who could stand in front and introduce themselves. At this moment, everyone could feel the difference between them. In the auditorium, Qin Fengqing raised his eyebrows slightly and murmured, "Fan Ping, seems familiar." On the rostrum, a middle-aged woman behind Huang Jing chuckled. 16 martial artists who have completed a limb honed, and 2 martial artists who have honed their bones twice. What's more interesting is, there's a potential martial artist who has honed his bones thrice. Which family's descendant is he from? Fan Ping. East Lake Fang family? Liu Fang family? Huang Jing said lightly. MC Mayu educates without discrimination. It doesn't matter which family he's from. If he can achieve thrice honing before enrolling, that's his own good fortune. That's different. I have a grudge against that guy from East Lake. I won't nurture a descendant for him. The woman chuckled and said softly, "I'll look up the information later. It's fine as long as he's not from the East Lake old man's family. I'll pay more attention to this little guy tomorrow." The other instructors did not say anything. It was useless to say it now. They would know tomorrow. Moreover, although thrice honing was not bad, it was not very useful to rely on useless materials that were thrown at him by countless medicinal herbs. At most, it would be faster before he entered the middle ranks. MC Mayu had no shortage of middle-ranked martial artists. P.S. My body is much better now. Thank you for your concern. I'll make some adjustments and strive for more updates. I'll resume normal updates in a few days. I only asked for leave yesterday. I did not intend to act pitiful or cheat anyone. I won't thank all the brothers who tipped me. Chapter 95. In front of the field. The 19 freshmen unscrupulously unleashed their peak chi blood. The other students retreated. Some looked indignant, while others were dejected. Everyone who entered MCMAU was proud. No one would think that they were weak. Being able to enter MCMAU meant that they were geniuses, superior to others. However, at this moment, under the pressure of the 12 instructors, only these 19 students could announce their names in front of the thousands of students. In front of the crowd, Fang Ping looked around. He was still a little shocked. Including him, there were 19 people. Other than the 2 twice-honed martial artists whose vitality was slightly lower than his, the others were not weaker than him. One had to know that his vitality had already reached 209 calories. Back then, peak rank 1 Tan Jinping only had a vitality of 250 calories when he unleashed his full strength. Tan Jinping's lower limbs had been completely honed, and he had maintained it at rank 1 for decades. Regardless of his actual combat strength, Tan Jinping's vitality was definitely not low among rank 1 martial artists. Although none of the 19 new students in MC Mayu had reached peak rank 1, how old were they? Each of them had a vitality of more than 200 calories. Some of them had cultivated combat techniques, and their actual combat strength was much stronger than Tan Jinping's. This was MC Mayu. Fu Changding was observing from the side. When he saw that so many people had withstood the pressure, he rolled his eyes and suddenly shouted, "Fan Ping, you're an aspiring martial artist, and yet you've held out until now. I've underestimated you." Fan Ping saw him winking at him and immediately understood what he meant. He could not help but feel embarrassed and ashamed. Yes, so ashamed. Seeing that Fu Changding was so anxious that he wanted to beat someone up, Fan Ping could only say dryly, "Fu Changding, you're not simple either. You're a twice-honed martial artist. You've actually finished honing one of your limbs." "Same here." "Fan Ping, be honest. Are you a thrice-honed martial artist?" "Fu Changding, do you want to make a guess?" "Fan Ping, I won't guess. It's not convenient for us to fight today. Otherwise, I'd definitely show you my power." "Fu Changding." "Fan Ping, Fu Changding, Fang Ping. With the two's reminder, everyone knew that there were two celebrities among the grade 08 new students. One was Fang Ping, and the other was Fu Changding. One was suspected to be thrice-honed, while the other was a twice-honed martial artist who had already finished honing one of his limbs. In the auditorium, many of the older students were dumbfounded. The girl beside Qin Fengqing was also convulsing with laughter. She couldn't help but say, "These two new students are interesting. The whole school should know about them now." Whenever the two of them spoke, they would call each other's names. Was there a need to do this to a normal conversation? Everyone understood his intentions at a glance. Many people were laughing, but Qin Fengqing snorted coldly and said, "Idiot, what are you laughing at?" Enduring the vitality outburst of 12 middle-ranked martial artists, chatting with vigor, "You bunch of idiots actually have the guts to laugh." Qin Fengqing didn't care about offending anyone. Even the instructors beside him were mocked by him. A bunch of idiots. Don't forget, there were only 2 new students over there. With 12 middle-ranked martial artists and other students' vitality outbursts, they were having a great time chatting. Are the other students idiots? Did they not understand? But now, out of the 17 people, how many of them could really open their mouths to chat? The 2 twice-honed aspiring martial artists were already sweating profusely. It looked like they couldn't hold on any longer. If they opened their mouths now, they would be disheartened and embarrassed. Even if the others were slightly better, there was a limit to how well they could do. Would they dare to chat freely? As soon as he said that, many people reacted immediately. Soon, someone remembered the main topic and asked immediately, "This Fang Ping, is he thrice-honed? He's not a martial artist?" When Fang Ping's vitality outburst earlier, these people thought that he was a martial artist. Now, after hearing Fu Changding's words, everyone knew that he was not. "Nonsense!" Qin Fengqing sneered again, then mumbled, "I remember now." He remembered now. Was this not the new student he met at the school gate a month ago? At that time, he sensed that the other party's vitality was not low. He was definitely twice-honed. However, he did not expect that the other party was not twice-honed, but thrice-honed. It was not rare to see twice-honed in MC Mayu, but thrice-honed was really rare. Currently, in MC Mayu, only sophomore Xiaolei was thrice-honed and was currently at peak rank 2. Qin Fengqing did not care about peak rank 2. Once Xiaolei broke through to rank 3, he would be Qin Fengqing's rival. Even now, Xiaolei could still fight with average rank 3 martial artists, winning and losing. On the rostrum, a few of the instructors showed a hint of amusement in their eyes. MC Mayu did not care about the students playing petty tricks. Martial artists had to compete and try their best to show off. Both Fu Changding and Fang Ping were within the rules. Since it was within the rules, it was in line with MC Mayu's style. The School of Weaponry instructor, Tang Feng, suddenly frowned. "These 2 students are playing to the gallery. We can't accept students like them." "That's right," someone immediately agreed. "Thrice-honing is nothing. We just don't want to waste time and resources to cultivate them. It's a waste of time." "That's right. These 2 new students think they're proud of themselves. In fact, this kind of playing to the gallery behavior is the most unacceptable." "That's right. These people like to cheat and take shortcuts in the future. We can't accept them." Everyone reprimanded them one after another. The woman who said that she wanted to do some research suddenly laughed. "Since all of you don't like them, I'll reluctantly accept them." "Shameless. Who said we won't accept them? We need to guide students like them." "That's right." Huang Jing felt a headache coming on. A bunch of idiots. Why did they have to show off their intelligence? If they liked them, then so be it. Why did they have to belittle them to the point of being useless? Did they think that everyone else was as stupid as them and would take their words seriously? Ignoring their argument, Huang Jing said lightly, "We're only looking at vitality now. It doesn't mean anything. Vitality can be cultivated, but some things have to depend on oneself. If we only look at vitality, then what's the point of organizing the Gaokao in the future? We might as well just end it with a physical assessment. His words reminded all the instructors that vitality was not the only factor in choosing students. IQ, strategy, and actual combat were all indispensable. Before this, no one had said who they wanted to choose. Later, they decided to choose Fan Ping and Fu Changding because they felt that these two little fellows did not lack IQ. Although this method of expression was immature, at this moment, they could stand out. It did not matter how they did it. Out of the 19 people, the other students probably only remembered these two at the moment. The names Fan Ping and Fu Changding had been repeated too many times. It was impossible not to remember them. While the others were discussing, Fan Ping was extremely embarrassed. Fu Changding called out his name again, but Fan Ping refused to answer even if he was beaten to death. Thousands of students were looking at them. There were also instructors and older students around them. If he continued calling out, Fan Ping would really lose his courage. Fu Changding actually felt that it was about time. Fan Ping did not answer, so Fu Changding could only howl dryly. Fan Ping, Fu Changding, will fight with you tomorrow. Shameless. Many people cursed in their hearts. Fight with you? Do you really think that everyone can't tell that you're acting as a duo? When Huang Jing saw that it was about time, he said, "Everyone must have gotten to know each other today." Many people looked resentful. They really did not know each other. They only knew these two shameless people. They had almost forgotten the dean's name. Huang Jing ignored them and continued, "If that's the case, then today's admission ceremony will end here. Tomorrow, we'll assign the schools and instructors. Students, remember today's lesson. Those who are late or fail to arrive will have 30 credits deducted. 20 credits deducted today and 30 tomorrow. Once it happened twice, they would all be deducted." Who would dare to repeat the same mistake? There were only so many resources before rank 1. Unless you earned it yourself, the free resources would be gone. After saying that, Huang Jing did not linger. He quickly turned around and left. The other instructors also remembered the students they were supposed to observe. They did not linger and left one after another. The instructors who could go on stage were not weaklings. Among them, the lowest was rank 5, and the highest was peak rank 6. As for the audience below the stage, they were a mix of good and bad. Some of the instructors were rank 4. After the people on stage left, the instructors below the stage did not wait to watch the actual battle the next day. Many people chose to leave the stage and enter the field. Student Fan Ping, I'm Li Yaohua, the instructor for new students in the School of Weaponry. I'm peak rank 4 and will soon enter rank 5. After the demonstration, Fan Ping received an invitation from the instructors. Fan Ping, who was thrice honed, was worth their investment regardless of his actual battle ability. You can choose me for the assignment of instructors tomorrow. Of course, my ability is relatively weaker than the instructors on stage just now. However, they are not just instructors for new students. Most of them already have students under their names. Some have more than 10 students under their names, and some have more than 10. I'm different. I just became an instructor at Magic City Martial Arts University last year. I've been on missions since the beginning of this year and have just returned to school. The instructor named Li Yaohua spoke very sincerely. He had not accepted any students yet. This year was also his first time accepting students. He was about to break through to rank 5, so his ability was not too weak. As the first student in his first batch, Fan Ping would have been the first disciple in the past. One could imagine the benefits he would receive. Fan Ping was actually quite touched that a middle-ranked powerhouse wanted to accept him as a student in such a sincere tone. However, being touched could not be eaten. Rank 4 was rank 4, and rank 6 was rank 6. Moreover, the instructor had not taught any students before. Fan Ping did not dare to agree. After politely declining the instructor's invitation, Li Yaohua did not force the issue even though he felt a little regretful. He continued to discuss with another twice-honed martial artist. When accepting students, everyone had to see eye to eye and accept each other wholeheartedly. Forcing someone to become a student was not only not an investment, but it would also cause trouble for oneself. The instructors did not want to do such a thankless job. Seeing that another instructor had come over, Fan Ping and Fu Changding looked at each other and hurried out. An instructor had also been negotiating with Fu Changding earlier. After leaving the field, Fu Changding breathed a sigh of relief and said immediately, "We must enter the School of Weaponry. I've asked around about the School of Weaponry this year. Instructor Tang Feng is the strongest among the new instructors this year. Instructor Tang Feng is at peak rank 6. People call him Mad Lion. He's extremely violent when he fights. He's good with fists and kicks, but his weapon is slightly weaker. Instructor Luo Yichuan, who is also at peak rank 6, is also a good choice. Instructor Luo is good with spears, not hot weapons, but cold weapons. His Luo family spear is also famous in the martial arts world. Instructor Bai Ruoshi, who is good with long swords, is also a good choice. Instructor Bai Ruoshi is a peak rank 5, but she's so pretty. She's only in her 30s this year, and she takes good care of herself. This kind of mature and charming female instructor is simply the best in the world. It's a pity that her swordsmanship doesn't really suit me." Fu Changding knew MC Meiyu's new student instructors like the back of his hand. He reported 7 to 8 of them in a row, the lowest of which was at rank 5. In the School of Weaponry, there were only 5 freshman instructors who had reached rank 6. Most of the others were rank 5, and a small portion were rank 4. Other academies, on the other hand, had more rank 4 instructors. In the School of Social Sciences, most of the instructors were rank 4. There were even a few rank 5 instructors. In the end, Fu Changding asked, "Fan Ping, who are you going to choose?" Fan Ping pondered for a moment before saying, "Instructor Tang Feng or Instructor Su Jianzhou?" "Instructor Su?" Fu Changding was a little surprised. He said, "Although Instructor Su is also a rank 6, he just broke through rank 6 not long ago. He didn't show up this time either. Why did you choose Instructor Su?" "Instructor Tang Feng is good at punching and kicking, while Instructor Su is good at saber techniques. He feels that saber techniques are easier to practice." "That's true. However, it's only relatively easy to practice. It's not that easy to master it. I'm going to choose Mentor Luo Yichuan." Fan Ping was surprised. "You're learning the spear? An inch longer, an inch stronger. It's safer to learn the spear." Fu Changding explained, then said in a low voice, "Today, other than the 2 of us, there are 17 other people. We don't have to consider the 2 twice-honed ones. The other 15 will be our strong opponents tomorrow. However, I have to say you hit it well. You're actually a thrice-honed." Fan Ping chuckled. "I didn't hide it, did I? That's not enough? During your Gaokao test, you definitely didn't hone your bones twice. It's only been 4 months, and you've already honed your bones thrice. That's unexpected. It's just luck." Fu Changding laughed. "I don't care if it's luck or not. That's how martial arts are. Some walk fast, while others walk slowly. Some walk far, while others stop very quickly. I'm not envious of you being thrice-honed. If I wanted to, I could do it too. Unfortunately, it's not worth it. On the contrary, I'm very happy. It looks like we have a higher chance of winning tomorrow. As long as we defeat these people tomorrow, we can choose any instructor we want. Who knows, the dean might be tempted and come to take us in personally." Fan Ping shook his head. "The dean might not be suitable for us. He's so busy, he won't have time to teach us newbies. Being strong doesn't mean that he can teach the students well. Rank 6 is enough." "That's true." Fu Changding nodded. He turned his head to look at the few people beside him. They were also top students who had escaped. Among them was Tang Songjing. There were also 3 girls. They had never seen these 3 girls before. One of them was average-looking, while the other 2 were not bad-looking. Fu Changding said in a low voice, "We're lucky. 1 for you, 1 for me. The one on the left that looks valiant and heroic is yours, and the one on the right is mine. Ha ha! Fang Ping politely declined. It was their first time meeting, so he was not in the mood to pick up girls. Moreover, these girls looked like they wanted to eat them up. Fang Ping did not want to be tortured. Chapter 96. On the first day of school, all the freshmen who were supposed to be famous were already famous. Among them, Fu Changding and Fang Ping were the most prosperous. Magic City Martial Arts University Martial Arts Society. In the meeting room, President Zhang Yu leaned back in his chair and asked tiredly, "Are there any good seedlings?" "Yes, the quality of the new students this year is not bad. There are a total of 58 martial artists, 8 twice-honed, and 1 thrice-honed. Among the martial artists, there were a total of 4 people who had broken through by twice-honing, and they had already finished honing one of their limbs. The quality is very high." The one who spoke was the girl who Qin Fengqing had previously mocked for having an affair with Zhang Yu. Qin Fengqing didn't say a word and lowered his head to look at the information. Zhang Yu glanced at him and said softly, "There's a thrice-honed freshman?" "Yes, his name is Fang Ping. His Gaokao results were okay, 149 calories. I didn't expect him to be thrice-honed. If it wasn't for someone revealing it, I would have thought that he had broken through to become a martial artist." Obviously, breaking through to become a martial artist was much easier than being thrice-honed. "Fools, only you can't see it." Qin Fengqing lowered his head and cursed, then continued to look at the information in his hands. After being scolded several times in a row, no matter how good her character was, she could not take it anymore. Zhou Yan said angrily, "Qin Fengqing, you saw through it from the beginning?" "Of course." Qin Fengqing admitted it directly. As for the scene where he met Fang Ping in front of the gate, he would never admit it even if he was beaten to death. "Do you think we'll believe you?" Zhou Yan snorted and said angrily, "Be careful. It's fine if I can't beat you, but you scolded the president, Teacher Min, the dean, and that Wang Jinyang. One of these people will definitely take care of you." Qin Fengqing lifted his head and sneered. "Who am I afraid of? When Wang Jinyang wiped out the Magic City Rank 1, he didn't even dare to make a move. Only I, Qin Fengqing, dare to. That's why I, Qin Fengqing, am a first-rank sophomore and a third-rank junior. I'm not talented enough, I don't have enough resources, I'm lacking in everything, but I don't lack courage." "You," Zhou Yan said angrily, "you're being unreasonable. TSK, little woman, you only know how to complain. I, Qin Fengqing, disdain to do such a thing. Qin Fengqing, enough!" Zhang Yu rubbed his forehead, feeling a headache coming on. "Don't keep talking about these things all day. You should keep your mouth shut. Otherwise, you will suffer sooner or later." "Tis!" Qin Fengqing snorted disdainfully and said indifferently, "Even if you lose, you don't lose. Even if you can't win, you can still scold. Scolding is also a kind of skill." Zhang Yu's face darkened. After a while he said, "Enough of this nonsense. This time, we can recruit a few new students. The 4 twice-honed martial artists, the thrice-honed Fang Ping, and the other twice-honed martial artists can all be considered. As for the other regular rank 1 martial artists, Zhang Yu completely ignored them. These people were not weak now, but that was only when compared to the new students. They were insignificant in MC Mayu, and they might not even be able to achieve rank 3 after graduation. On the contrary, the twice-honed prospective martial artists had a higher probability of achieving rank 3. Qin Fengqing didn't continue the conversation. He suddenly slammed the table and said angrily, "I was wondering why it sounded so familiar." Right now, he was holding Fang Ping's information in his hands. "Nanjiang Sun City No. 1 High School." Qin Fengqing ignored the president's recruitment and raised his head to ask, "Where is Wang Jinyang from?" Zhang Yu frowned and said, "What do you want? Just tell me where he's from. You're the president, not my dad. Why do you have so many questions?" Zhang Yu said softly. "Qin Fengqing, stop making a scene. Do you want to try entering the combat room? Qin Fengqing was slightly embarrassed. He said dryly, I'm just asking where he's from. If you know, then tell me. If you don't, then forget it. Is it fun to always use rank 4 to pressure people? A rank 4 president was not someone he could challenge. Once he entered the combat room, he would come out with a pig's head. The new students had just arrived, and the president wanted him to recruit new students. Recruiting people with a pig's head would be utterly humiliating. Zhang Yu snorted softly. Zhou Yan and the others were all smiles. Who asked you to be so arrogant? Now you admit defeat. Zhang Yu did not argue with him. After some thought, he said, I think he's from Nanjiang Sun City. Which high school? I don't remember, but they're usually from number 1 high school. Nanjiang Sun City number 1 high school. Qin Fengqing's gaze changed. He gritted his teeth and said, I'll handle Fan Ping's recruitment this time. Zhou Yan said immediately, President, Fan Ping is from Nanjiang Sun City number 1 high school. Qin Fengqing can't beat Wang Jinyang, so he's going to take it out on his juniors. Shut up, Qin Fengqing said angrily. I'll go and ask about the situation. Who would bully the weak? Do you think I'll use my rank to bully people? Zhang Yu's expression darkened slightly. How did the Martial Arts Society recruit such a thing? If it were not for the fact that the other vice presidents were not around, and he himself was busy, he would not have let Qin Fengqing be in charge of the recruitment. Now that he was in charge, there was no reason to replace him halfway. Exhaling softly, Zhang Yu said, You can go, but remember, don't break the Martial Arts Society's rules. If you break the rules, even if Wang Jinyang doesn't come looking for you, I won't let you go. I know. How annoying, Qin Fengqing replied impatiently. He laughed a little sloppily and walked out of the conference room with Fan Ping's information. After he left, Zhou Yan asked worriedly, President, he won't mess around, will he? He won't. Zhang Yu shook his head. Qin Fengqing still had his pride. Even if Fan Ping and Wang Jinyang were from the same school, it was nothing. Even if he vented his anger on Fan Ping, this was not how he should vent his anger. Of course, if he knew that Fan Ping and Wang Jinyang were not simply from the same school, then it would be hard to say. As he said that, Zhang Yu sighed softly. I'll be in closed-door cultivation soon. I won't be out much. You guys keep an eye on me. Closed-door cultivation. Everyone frowned. It was not that martial artists did not go into closed-door cultivation, but they rarely did so. Most of them went on missions and cultivated and improved during the missions. Zhang Yu had not entered rank 4 for long. Suddenly going into closed-door cultivation was obviously not to break through to rank 5. Then what was the purpose of the closed-door cultivation? Zhang Yu did not explain. Back then, Wang Jinyang was defeated in Magic City. He did not lose because of his strength, but because Magic City bullied the weak. As a rank 2 martial artist, he injured the other party. Now, Wang Jinyang was rank 3 and was challenging rank 3 Northland. Perhaps he would reach rank 4 soon. He chose to challenge and break through in the Northland. Once he did, Zhang Yu suspected that he would go south to Magic City. And Magic City Martial Arts University was his first choice. Nanjiang's Governor-General Zhang had broken through to rank 7. He urgently needed to prove his strength. Not only his own strength, but also the strength of the martial arts students in the country. With Wang Jinyang as the vanguard, Governor-General Zhang could not wait for someone like him to stir up trouble. He would give him the greatest support. The president of Nanjiang Martial Arts Society had defeated the president of Magic City Martial Arts University's Martial Arts Society. Not only could he take revenge, he could also make Nanjiang Martial Arts University famous. Was Zhang Yu not the best stepping stone? Now, if he fought Wang Jinyang, he would definitely win. However, it was hard to say if he faced a rank 4 Wang Jinyang. Wang Jinyang's trip to the Northland was not over yet. Zhang Yu planned to go into closed-door cultivation to cultivate powerful combat techniques, just in case. Qin Fengqing accepted the recruitment mission. Zhang Yu went into closed-door cultivation to prepare for Wang Jinyang's breakthrough. Naturally, Fan Ping did not know any of this. Old Wang had turned off his phone recently. Knowing that he was challenging powerhouses, Fan Ping did not continue to call to ask. Right now, Fan Ping had started his own cultivation right after he had finished his dinner. It had been more than 10 days since he had honed his bones thrice. At this time, Fan Ping's strength had improved again. Wealth, 210,000 vitality, 207 calories, 209 calories, mentality, 208 Hz, 210 Hz. His vitality and mentality had improved, but Fan Ping felt that his body had reached its limit, the limit of a thrice honed. Unless he continued to hone his bones and nourish his body, this vitality would be his limit. However, he had already used up all of the body-strengthening elixir. He did not know when he would need to hone his bones again, so he had no intention of continuing. After the assignment of mentors in the academy was completed tomorrow, he was prepared to apply for a breakthrough. At this time, Fan Ping was not cultivating anything else. He was practicing pole standing. He had just achieved a breakthrough to the firm stance 2 days ago. He was still familiarizing himself with his pole standing in case something unexpected happened the next day. His stance was solid, or at least that was what Fan Ping thought. He was already showing signs of becoming a roly-poly toy. While Fan Ping was cultivating, the second floor of Area 1 was also very quiet. Everyone was adjusting their state of mind. Fan Ping and Fu Changding had taken the lead today. Although everyone was unhappy, the fact that the two of them could still talk and laugh in that situation proved their strength. If they really wanted to impress the crowd, they would have been looked down upon long ago. Students who did not know what was going on might think that, but as the leaders of Area 1, no one would have guessed their strength. Out of the 19 people who had withstood the pressure, less than 5 of them had the energy to speak, other than Fan Ping and his team. Even these 5 people might not have been as relaxed as Fan Ping and his team. Otherwise, they would not have remained silent. Today was only a vitality competition. Tomorrow was the main event. Compared to upstairs, the people downstairs in Area 1 were much more relaxed. Many people visited each other, calling out to go out for a meal. Guixing was one of them. When little fatty Guixing asked if they wanted to invite Fan Ping along, the rest of them looked surprised. After a simple inquiry, they found out that the two of them had only met once in the morning. Everyone immediately dismissed the idea. Fu Changding was a thrice-honed potential martial artist. He would definitely not come out tonight. Did this fatty know what tomorrow meant? It did not matter to them, but to the people upstairs, it mattered a lot. Whether the instructor chose you, or you chose the instructor, or if you were left behind and had no choice but to be assigned to the instructor, the difference would be obvious tomorrow. The little fatty did not understand these things at all. This made many people sigh. F***CK, how did this guy get into Magic City Martial Arts University? At the same time. Capital City Grand Hotel. Wang Jinyang leaned on the sofa and watched TV, his expression relaxed. Beside him, NMAU's vice-chancellor was a little anxious. He asked, "Jinyang, are you confident tomorrow?" "I don't know." The vice-chancellor was speechless. After a while he said, "Qin Feng has been rank 3 for a long time. If he hadn't broken his left hand in the catacombs, he would have broken through to rank 4 long ago. Even so, his combat awareness, experience, and reflexes have all reached rank 4. Once his left hand recovers, he'll be rank 4 immediately. Aren't you going to prepare?" "No need. I need this kind of opponent." Wang Jinyang was calm and composed. He smiled and said, "I'll wait a little longer. After challenging Qin Feng, I'll go to Capital City Martial Arts University. I should be about rank 4 by then. Vice-Chancellor, you won't stop me from getting rank 4 resources this time, will you?" The Vice-Chancellor laughed and said, "Your enemy's face now. The Vice-Chancellor said that you'd get priority. Of course, you'll have to return it in the future." After all, martial arts universities have limited resources. We can't break the rules just for you. I understand. An advance payment will be enough. Wang Jinyang smiled and said, Tomorrow is the time when all the martial arts schools are divided into schools? Yes. At this time last year, you weren't too outstanding. I didn't expect. The Vice-Chancellor sighed. When Wang Jinyang first went to NMAU, he was not too outstanding either. At least, he was not too outstanding during the division. Of course, relatively speaking, he was still quite good. That was why a rank 5 instructor like Zhang Qinan had taken a liking to him. In NMAU, a rank 5 instructor was definitely not weak. He was at the top of the hierarchy. At that time, everyone thought that Zhang Qinan had made a mistake. However, Wang Jinyang's stamina was too strong. He reached his limit in 3 months and became twice honed in 2 months. In less than half a year, he broke through rank 1. After rank 1, he quickly reached peak and made a name for himself in Magic City. The free resources provided by the school allowed him to break through rank 2. Unexpectedly, 3 months later, Wang Jinyang had reached peak rank 2. This time, he did not use the resources provided by the school. He got enough cultivation resources from somewhere and broke through rank 3 in one go. Rank 3 in a year. This was a legend in NMAU. However, since Zhang Qingnan's disappearance, Wang Jinyang seemed to have a burst of energy. Under crazy cultivation, he quickly finished honing his torso. Now, he was moving toward rank 4. If he could really break through during this time, he could barely be considered to have achieved rank 4 in a year. Such a person from NMAU was so shocking that everyone's jaws dropped. Now, even the Vice-Chancellor and Governor-General Zhang had high hopes for him. They hoped that Wang Jinyang would become another exemplary figure in Nanjiang. The Vice-Chancellor was really worried that Wang Jinyang would lose. Physical injury was a small matter, but the key was psychological. Wang Jinyang did not care much about the Vice-Chancellor's concern. He muttered, They're divided into schools. I wonder what kind of instructor that kid will get. I'll go take a look after some time. I hope he doesn't embarrass me. Old Wang felt that Fang Ping was half a student of his. If it was too embarrassing, he would not be able to keep his face. However, he was too busy now. He did not have time to care about this. It seemed like he did not care about tomorrow's opponent, but in reality, Wang Jinyang had already rehearsed the details of tomorrow's fight. The next day, 2nd of September. After a night of recovery, Fang Ping's spirit and vitality were full. He went to the cafeteria and ate until he was 70% full. Then, he walked slowly to the building of practical combat training. Behind him, Fu Changding was holding a wax spear without a head. He was testing it out, not saying a word. Beside him, a few martial artists were also carrying their own weapons. Someone muttered, I wonder if I can bring this into the arena. The other normal students, on the other hand, were filled with anticipation and confusion. They could clearly feel the tension in the air, but they did not know where it came from. Guixing saw Fang Ping. He wanted to greet him, but when he saw that Fang Ping was not looking at him, he had to give up. Little Fatty felt wronged. He said in a low voice, MCMAU is not humane at all. At least, that was what he thought. He didn't have any roommates, nor did he have the legendary distinction between the eldest and the second eldest. He didn't see any beauties, and there wasn't anyone who would put their arms around his shoulder and share snacks with him. Fang Ping, the first student he met after school, did not seem to be as easy to talk to as he had imagined. This made Guixing a little disappointed. Is this MCMAU? Chapter 97. The building of practical training was located on the northeast side of MCMAU. It was a 9-story building. MCMAU's buildings usually had 9 as the maximum. It was not too tall, but the building of practical training took up a lot of space. Not all of it was open today. Only the first 4 floors were open. Building of practical training, 9th floor. The ninth floor was not a training floor in the conventional sense. Instead, it was a spacious hall. The hall was surrounded by large screens. They were the feedback from the surveillance cameras when the students entered the floor. Usually, few people came to the ninth floor. Now, there were almost 100 instructors and school leaders, either sitting or standing. There were less than 1,600 freshmen, but there were more than 100 martial arts instructors and dozens of cultural studies teachers. MCMAU had more than 6,000 students, but there were more than 1,000 instructors in both the social sciences and martial arts. The ratio of students to instructors was almost 5:1. This was also a characteristic of martial arts universities. Martial arts instructors did not teach many students. Huang Jing was as eye-catching as ever in the crowd. The other instructors and school leaders were all around him. While waiting for the students to enter, someone in the hall suddenly said, "When the 4 schools were established, it was to prevent martial artists from focusing solely on martial arts and becoming martial artists. Now, the School of Weaponry occupies the most resources every year and selects the most outstanding students. Some students don't focus on actual combat, but on research, creation, business, and politics. The prosperity of a country depends on the prosperity of all industries, not just the supremacy of martial arts. Now all the schools of science have deviated from their original intentions. Too many resources have been tilted toward the School of Weaponry, causing all the outstanding students to choose the School of Weaponry." Dean Huang, is this really appropriate? As soon as he said this, everyone turned to look. The person who said this was none other than the Dean of the School of Social Sciences, Qing Zhenhua. Although Qing Zhenhua was not a Grandmaster, he was still a peak rank 6 powerhouse. Moreover, he was also a nationally renowned research expert and political instructor. The results of MCMAU's School of Social Sciences were not bad in recent years. At least, they were among the best among the major schools of social sciences. There were 7 or 8 governors from MCMAU's School of Social Sciences alone, and 4 of them were still in office. However, it was a fact that MCMAU tilted toward the School of Weaponry every year. The resources allocated to the School of Social Sciences were decreasing, and the quality of the students was getting worse compared to the School of Weaponry. In the past, some outstanding students would choose the School of Social Sciences, but now, almost no one would do so. Chen Zhenhua could no longer sit still as he watched the annual allocation of academies. He had no choice but to speak up. Huang Jing did not bat an eyelid. He calmly said, "Are the students of the School of Weaponry pure martial artists?" Over the years, the School of Weaponry had produced all sorts of graduates. They had produced politicians who could govern a country, high-ranking officials who could manage a territory, entrepreneurs who had a successful career, and world-famous scientists. Who would dare say that the students of the School of Weaponry were martial artists? Literature can rule a country, and martial arts can pacify a nation. President Chen, you can't speak carelessly, Qin Zhenhua said in dissatisfaction. Director Huang, don't be biased. Most of the recent graduates from the School of Weaponry have chosen the military and the Department of Investigation Services. That's because the catacombs are getting more dangerous, Huang Jing said with a serious expression. They are serving the country. They died on the battlefield and died on the battlefield. How many people know about it? Can you guys, who only know how to enjoy a peaceful life in the rear, understand that batches of outstanding social elites are going to the front line and their young lives are coming to an end? Why are resources allocated to the School of Weaponry? Why do we have to choose the best of the best? The frontline commanders are getting fewer and fewer, and more are dying. How much do you know? Even if this is unfair to those ordinary soldiers and martial artists, you have to admit that if it weren't for the martial arts university genius martial artists holding the fort, commanding the battle, taking the risk to advance, and executing the decapitation strategy, would you still be able to enjoy the peace you're enjoying now? Huang Jing's expression was sorrowful, and he said with a hint of anger, "Even so, a large number of elites die in the catacombs every year. Back then, to prevent the world from falling into chaos, to allow ordinary people to live and work in peace, without fear and worry about these things. Our ancestors decided not to disclose this news to ordinary people. But is this fair? More and more young talents are dying in the front line, and they don't even have the title of hero. They even have to announce to the public that they died in training or on missions. This is not fair. The weak are still questioning why martial artists should enjoy these privileges. Why? Why do you ask? Director Huang, please calm down, Qin Zhenhua said softly. Things haven't reached that point yet. I'm not denying anyone's contributions and merits. The students of the School of Social Sciences are also contributing their efforts. Only when society is stable and the economy is developed can the country invest more funds and resources into martial arts. The students of the School of Production are innovating pills, reforming cultivation methods, and improving weapons. The students of the School of Tactics and Strategy are also acting as frontline commanders. The School of Weaponry is not unique to the School of Weaponry. The division of the 4 major schools is for everyone to perform their own duties. However, overemphasizing the importance of the School of Weaponry is unfair to the others. Fair? Huang Jing said lightly. MC Mayu respects the strong. If you're a grandmaster, then you can talk to me about fairness. Since you're not, then don't talk to me about fairness. You. Qin Zhenhua was furious. Talk to him, and he would talk to you about martial arts. Say he was a martial artist, and he would talk to you. However, Huang Jing's identity as a grandmaster suppressed the other 3 major schools to the point where they could not even lift their heads. Qin Zhenhua was furious. He huffed and said, "When the vice-chancellor comes back, I'll talk to him." "Up to you." Huang Jing did not care. He said lightly, "The school assignment assessment has begun. All schools will compete fairly. If there are any threats or intimidation, once discovered, they will be dealt with severely. I'm talking about the instructors, especially the instructors from other schools. Be careful." The instructors from the School of Social Sciences were embarrassed. It was more appropriate for the School of Weaponry to do this. The School of Social Sciences was weaker to begin with. Why would they do something like this? The square in front of the building of practical training. Tang Feng said loudly. The first floor is the School of Social Sciences. The second floor is the School of Production. The third floor is the School of Tactics, and the fourth floor is the School of Weaponry. It's 7:57 now. The building closes at 8 and opens at 9. When the building opens, the students of the school will be on whichever floor you are on. Each floor can have up to 400 people. If you exceed the limit, 30 credits will be deducted from the students on that floor. The students were in an uproar when they heard this. This was obviously to encourage them to compete and fight. Otherwise, if someone insisted on squeezing into that floor, it could cause a few hundred people to have their credits deducted. 30 credits and 3 rank 1 vitality pills. Even a rich student like Fu Changding had to treat it with caution. Fu Changding decided to make a name for himself by popping pills. He had prepared 3 rank 1 vitality pills. Despite the uproar, no one questioned him. They did not dare to. Soon, a student asked, "Instructor, can we bring weapons?" Tang Feng glanced at the person who spoke and saw that he was holding a short blade. He pondered for a moment before saying, "You're not allowed to bring metal weapons. There are solid wood weapons on the first floor. You can use them. You're all new students. If you don't know your limits, you'll easily cause a lot of casualties. Solid wood weapons can reduce casualties." Many students understood what he meant when he said reduce casualties instead of avoid casualties. Their faces turned a little pale. Obviously, casualties were not unheard of. It was not impossible for a solid wood weapon to hit a vital spot. It was just that it was not as dangerous as a metal weapon. Tang Feng continued, "Other than the prohibition of metal weapons, everything else is up to you. You can team up or gang up on me. It's all up to you. Martial artists have to fight, but you have to act according to your capabilities. If you can't do it, It's better to keep yourself useful than to fight for a moment of pride. Every school has its own strengths and weaknesses. The school of weaponry is not the best choice. It's best to choose what suits you. After Tang Feng finished speaking, he shouted, "Enter now." The students rushed in when they heard this. Just as the students entered the building, all the doors were closed, leaving only one main passageway guarded by a few instructors. This passageway was also an emergency passageway. The new students did not know how to control their strength. If there were casualties, the school would try their best to avoid it and rescue them immediately. As soon as he entered the building, he saw a spacious central hall. More than 1,000 students entered, but it was not too crowded. In the middle of the hall, a weapon rack was placed, filled with all kinds of solid wood weapons. Sabers, spears, swords, halberds. Fu Changding's waxwood pole was not a metal weapon, so he could bring it in. Once they entered the building, Fu Changding moved closer to Fang Ping and asked in a low voice, "Do you want to use a weapon?" Fang Ping nodded. Having a weapon was better than nothing. When they were still not that strong, having a weapon in hand would make them feel more secure. Of course, if they met an evenly matched opponent and continued to use a weapon because they were not used to it, that would be a hindrance. Fang Ping did not say much. He went forward and took a wooden pole more than a meter long. At this time, he had not learned how to use a weapon. A pole was the most suitable as long as he had enough strength. As for the others, some took a weapon, some did not. Some looked around cautiously, while others looked straight ahead and walked up the stairs. Fang Ping was not in a hurry. He weighed the wooden pole in his hand and tilted his head to look at Fu Changding. "Do we start now?" "Wait." Fu Changding shook his head. "It'll be more chaotic in the early stages. Many ants can kill an elephant. Some people don't know their limits, and will definitely try to break into the 4th floor. We'll wait for a while. When those who are not strong enough realize that they can only stay on the other 3 floors, we'll go. Alright, then we'll split up first. I'll see you on the 4th floor." Fang Ping did not plan to stay with this guy. As he spoke, he took the wooden pole and went to the 2nd floor. Seeing that Fang Ping had left, Fu Changding could not help but curse. This guy better not cause any trouble. If Fang Ping got into trouble, it would be difficult for him to handle alone. 4th floor. Tang Songting stepped into the hall. There were already more than 10 people there. After looking around, Tang Songting walked toward a boy with a crew cut and squatted down beside him. He laughed heartily. "Tang Songting! Zhao Lei! Together?" Zhao Lei frowned. "There's no need." "Ha ha!" Tang Songting did not say much. He got up and left. Zhao Lei stayed in room 1. He was also one of the 4 twice-honed martial artists. He was not weak. Tang Songting was prepared to team up with him to defeat Fu Changding. However, since the other did not have the intention, he did not force it. Tang Songting believed that he was not weaker than this guy. While Tang Songting continued to look for partners, on the other side, a few girls gathered together. Yang Xiaoman said heroically, "We girls have always been looked down upon. Everyone says that women are not as good as men when it comes to martial arts. But I, Yang Xiaoman, don't believe it. This time, the 3 of us will team up and show these guys that girls are not to be trifled with. Whoever dares to provoke us sisters, we'll beat his face until it's bloody." As she spoke, Yang Xiaoman suddenly said, "Chen Yinqi, can you not look so weak? You think we're easy to bully. Learn from Zhao Xuemei. Put on a fierce face and scare the guys to death." Chen Yinqi smiled innocently while Zhao Xuemei said exasperatedly, "If you say I'm ugly, just say it. Don't beat around the bush. I didn't say you're ugly. Martial artists don't need good looks. They just need strength." Yang Xiaoman explained weakly. Zhao Xuemei did not mind. She sneered. "It's okay. I don't care. Xiaoman is right. Martial artists only look at strength. Xiaoman is a twice-honed martial artist, and so is Yunqi. I heard that there are only 4 twice-honed martial artists. Although there are fewer girls, we're not weaker than the guys. Among the guys, only that Zhao Lei and Fu Changding are twice-honed martial artists. I don't care about the others. If the three of us team up, no one will dare to provoke us. Zhao Xuemei looked confident. Chen Yinshi whispered, That Fan Ping, isn't he thrice-honed? Pfft. He's not an official martial artist. Thrice-honing only means that his breakthrough speed is faster. His actual combat ability might not be that strong. Besides, does a thrice-honed have time to cultivate combat techniques? What do you guys think? Yang Xiaomen agreed. That's right. This time, we'll be relying on actual combat ability, not just talking. He and Fu Changding are good at talking, but it's hard to say how good they'll be in actual combat. As the girls were talking, a shout came from the side. Get lost! There were 2 doors in the hall on the 4th floor. At this moment, an official martial artist stood in front of one of the doors and shouted, The 4th floor is not a place for you people. The person he was scolding was a group of 4 boys. Hearing the rude scolding, one of them said angrily, Each floor can accommodate 400 people. How many people are there now? Don't go overboard. Overboard? Face the reality. The martial artist student snorted. Without another word, he held a wooden longsword in his hand and slashed at his opponent's shoulder without another word. The one who was chosen as the target was the new student who had just retorted. After all, martial artists could not be compared to regular students. This group of 4 was obviously students from the same dormitory in Area 4. Area 4 was originally made up of students who had just entered MC Mayu. Their vitality was around 130 calories. Even if a few months had passed, not everyone would have a big improvement. Martial artists had strong vitality, fast movements, and great strength. They had already entered the official bone honing stage. When the saber slashed down, the other party did not even have time to dodge. Everyone heard a crack. A blood-curdling scream attracted the attention of many people. The person who was hit was holding his shoulder, his face full of pain, and he kept screaming, Get lost! The person who attacked did not even look at him, and shouted at the others. A group of bottom feeders wanted to fight for space. Did they really think that the 4th floor was a place anyone could come? You're too much. We're all classmates. The injured student's roommate looked angry and aggrieved. Just as he finished speaking, he saw the martial artist opposite him was about to raise his saber again. This time, the few of them did not dare to shout. The other 3 supported the injured person and walked down the stairs with sullen and indignant faces. Look carefully. The 4th floor. Those without a vitality of 140 calories and above are not allowed to enter. The martial artist who was in charge of establishing his authority roared. Many students who were still watching from the corridor and staircase entrance felt a lingering fear. Many of the new students were even more confused. How could this be? These people actually attacked. A group of students who entered martial arts universities from modern society were like ignorant sheep entering this dangerous barbaric world. In the hall, many martial artists glanced at them and did not pay attention. Since someone was willing to clean up the mess, they were happy to be idle. Otherwise, without a threshold, they would all come later. It would be troublesome. The martial artist who was in charge of establishing his authority did not speak anymore. He found an empty spot and sat down cross-legged. Establishing his authority was not idle. It was to show off his strength. Chapter 98. Second floor. Fan Ping strolled around leisurely. He was not bored out of his mind. He just wanted to see the standard of MCMAU's freshmen. Fan Ping did not know much about his own standards, especially in actual combat. He did not have much contact with martial artists. Of the few he knew, Wang Jinyang was a non-human, Tan Jinping was a pure vitality martial artist, Huang Bin died quickly, and Zhang Yong had blown someone's head off with one punch. The only one he had experienced fighting was the evil sect martial artist. He was a fighter among trash. Other than proving that Zhang Yong's fists were hard, he was useless. That was why Fang Ping did not have a clear definition of his strength even now. He knew that he was thrice-honed, so he should not be too weak, but it depended on who he was compared to. He was compared to old Wang, who could beat him up with one hand. The first and second floors were relatively peaceful. There were almost no fights on the first floor, and very few on the second floor as well. Even if they fought, it was just a matter of words. "You're here too?" "Yes, I'm here." "Why are you here?" "You can go to the first floor." "I can come if you can." "Why can't I come?" Fang Ping had heard this retarded conversation earlier. Even when Fang Ping walked past them, the two of them did not react at all. Fang Ping only saw the first fight when he reached the third floor. Or rather, it was not a suitable fight. Two normal people with higher vitality fought, and some onlookers jeered from the side. There were two advantages to having a high vitality: endurance and endurance. One punch after another, they were having a great time. At this moment, the benefits of having a high HP showed itself. The punches did not hurt too much, and the energy consumption was not too high. Based on the pace of these two, they could fight until the building opened up. "I can fight 10 of them at the same time like this." Fang Ping judged that these two had not reached their vitality limit, which meant that their vitality was less than 149 calories. Even if they practiced combat techniques, they were just fancy moves. They should not be called combat techniques. If these people dared to fight without restraint on the third floor, and the others looked as if they were watching a show, it was obvious that the students on the third floor were only average. "I don't see any martial artists. I don't see any aspiring martial artists who have broken through their limits either. They must have all gone to the fourth floor. Let's go to the fourth floor. With an example, we can roughly judge the standard of others." Fang Ping himself felt that he was thinking too much and lacked the hot-bloodedness of a young man. However, his habitual thinking led him to always think things through before acting. It has to be changed. Fang Ping made up his mind. It was not that he thought this was bad, but sometimes, being too indecisive might not be a good thing. Compared to people like Fu Changding, he was more reserved and not very sociable. He exhaled a mouthful of turbid air and strode up to the fourth floor. Fourth floor. Ever since a few of the weaker freshmen were chased away, the students who came later were not considered weak. There were almost 70 martial artists and twice-honed students. There were also 30 to 40 people who had broken through 150 calories but had yet to reach 180 calories. Other than these 100 or so people, the students who came up one after another all had vitality above 140 calories. Among them, there were quite a number of peak potential martial artists with 149 calories. Seeing that no one else was coming up, someone in the crowd whispered, "It seems to be easier than I thought." The fourth floor could accommodate 400 people. However, ever since the martial artist who established his dominance required those with vitality above 140 calories to come up, there was a threshold, and the number of people coming up was much lower. Half an hour had passed, and there were only about 300 people on the fourth floor. The remaining people were either loitering downstairs or preparing to go up at the last moment. It was difficult to exceed 400 people even if one took everything into account. This way, everyone felt much more at ease. The average students felt relaxed. After all, they had obtained the opportunity to enter the school of weaponry. However, the stronger students were slightly dissatisfied. If there was no conflict, how could they stand out? Just as many people were thinking about it, someone walked in from outside the door. It was Fu Changding. Fu Changding gripped his white wax staff, looked around, and shouted, "Where's Chow Chow? Come out!" Everyone was stunned. Just as many people were confused, Tang Songting stood up angrily and said angrily, "Fu Changding, I dare you to say that again. Chow Chow, come, let Master Fu teach you a lesson." Fu Changding laughed out loud. Without waiting for Tang Songting's reply, he swung his long staff. Woo-woo! There was a whining sound in the air. Tang Songning's expression changed drastically. He moved his feet and dodged in a hurry. The people around him who were affected looked grim. Before they could speak, Fu Changding laughed and said, "I'll fight Cao Cao alone. If you're unhappy, you can come at me together." "Master Fu, take it!" "Arrogant!" Someone scolded in a low voice, but no one stepped forward. The people around Tang Songting quickly moved away. These two people were not ordinary, especially Fu Changding. When he swung his long staff, there was an explosion in the air. At this time, everyone was waiting, and no one wanted to step forward. "Cao Cao, no one is helping you. Don't even think of running away today. F*CKU. Tang Songting was called this nickname in front of everyone, and Fu Changding took the initiative to attack. No matter how wary he was, he could not hold it in anymore. "Go to hell!" Tang Songting stood with his legs apart. His right hand spread out and grabbed the white wax staff. Bang! The two collided, and there was a faint sound of metal clashing. Tang Songting grabbed the white wax staff. His right palm was already red, and the veins on the back of his hand were bulging. Holding the white wax staff, Tang Songting advanced instead of retreating. He clenched his left hand into a fist and punched the white wax staff in his hand, obviously trying to break Fu Changding's weapon. "Idiot!" Fu Changding's eyes flashed with mockery. "Others might not know, but you, Tang Songting, don't know that I honed my lower limbs." He had practiced spear techniques before, but he had not honed his upper limbs, so his strength was average. His true strength was still his right leg. Tang Songting held the staff with one hand and swung his fist with the other. At this moment, he was wide open and had no defense against Fu Changding. Without another word, Fu Changding shook his right hand and tossed the white wax staff away. His left leg stomped on the ground, and his whole body soared into the air. His right leg kicked violently at his opponent. Bang! The sound of flesh colliding rang again. Fu Changding's kick landed on Tang Songting's chest, sending him flying back 3 to 4 meters. Tang Songting staggered and did not fall, but his face paled. He quickly crouched down, clutching his chest. Weak. Too weak. Fu Changding did not expect Tang Songting to improve so little after not seeing him for a few months. To think that he had regarded the dozen people from yesterday as strong opponents. At this moment, Fan Ping walked out from the door, frowning slightly. "This is your strong opponent?" He had arrived when the two of them were fighting. He paused for a moment, and Tang Songting was sent flying by Fu Changding's kick. Fan Ping was disappointed when he saw that Tang Songting was defenseless and wide open. His sternum might have been broken. A martial artist like this was not much different from the evil sect martial artist he had met previously. Compared to Wang Jinyang, the difference was like heaven and earth. Previously, when he had achieved some success in his leg techniques, old Wang had said that he wanted to practice. At that time, Fan Ping's strength was no weaker than Tang Songting's, but in the end, he had been beaten by old Wang single-handedly like it was a joke. He had been a little worried before, thinking that he might not be able to suppress these people. Now, Fan Ping understood that everyone had different expectations of him. He looked up to Wang Jinyang, the strongest rank 1 martial artist in Magic City. At this moment, Fan Ping's confidence skyrocketed. Without waiting for Fu Changding to speak, Fan Ping's gaze swept across the hall, and he said lightly, "Before I came to MCMU, everyone said that there were many geniuses in the Big Two. I gave up the 10 million reward from Nanjiang Martial Arts University and chose to come to MCMU because I wanted to see the real geniuses. I didn't expect MCMU students to be so weak. Hearing about them is not as good as meeting them in person." "What did you say?" "Outrageous. This guy is in cahoots with Fu Changding. Are these two bastards going to put on a show again? Tang Songting is in cahoots with them too?" Tang Songting stood with his hand on his chest, revealing a bitter expression. "They're in cahoots with God. As soon as Fan Ping's provocative words came out, many people were instantly enraged. Calling MC Meiyu's students weak in front of everyone, even if it was only the second day of enrollment, MC Meiyu had already taken root in their hearts. This was the school they had chosen. This was the gathering place for geniuses like them. This sense of pride had seeped into their bones from the moment they enrolled in MC Meiyu. At this moment, Fan Ping had belittled MC Meiyu. Many people were furious. However, when they looked at Fu Changding, they were slightly fearful. Fu Changding's strength just now was not weak. What? You only know how to bark a little? Many people told me that martial artists must fight. Martial artists dare to fight. I've always thought that and acted that way. I feel that martial artists and martial arts universities are different. They dare to fight, and fight. But I'm disappointed in MC Meiyu again. There are so many martial artists. I've stepped on your faces, but other than barking a little, what else have you done? I'm sure that the instructors are watching and listening at this moment. I look down on MC Meiyu's students. The instructors will definitely be unhappy too. They hope that someone will stand up and prove MC Meiyu's strength. But what about you guys? Fan Ping. The one who spoke was Fu Changding. Fu Changding frowned slightly, obviously dissatisfied with Fan Ping's mocking words. If he continued, the students who would not have joined forces would all join forces because of Fan Ping's words. Fan Ping suddenly laughed and turned to look at him. You think I'm mocking you? No, I'm not mocking you. I'm just speaking the truth. It's true. I've seen a student from Nanjiang Martial Arts University, which is the one you call trash. He's 100 times stronger than you guys. He's 100 times calmer and more reserved than you guys. He's not arrogant, doesn't have an inferiority complex, and is neither servile nor overbearing. I've always thought that this is the demeanor of a martial arts university student. If Nanjiang Martial Arts University is like that, what about MC Meiyu? MC Meiyu is one of the big two. Even if he's a freshman, he should be outstanding and subdued, right? It's a pity that I didn't see this. I'm really disappointed. I'm starting to wonder if choosing MC Meiyu was the right choice. Fan Ping. Enough. Do you want to die? You can try. Many students were already burning with anger. Fan Ping's repeated belittling of them had pushed them to the limit. If it were not for the fact that there were too many people around and they did not know who should step up, someone would have stepped up to teach Fan Ping a lesson. At this moment, a voice suddenly came from the broadcast in the corner of the hall. Defeat him. Let him understand that MC Meiyu is not without talents. Just because a normal martial arts school has a genius doesn't mean they can ignore MC Meiyu. Very well, let us see if you guys are worth nurturing. The instructors are watching your performance. Whoever defeats this arrogant person will be awarded 50 credits. The credits will be deducted from Fan Ping. The hall was silent for a moment. Soon, everyone's gaze changed. The voice just now was from Dean Huangjing. The instructors were watching, the dean was watching, and there was also the 50 credits reward. Even Fu Changding's gaze was so complicated that it could kill someone. I said don't play any tricks. Don't play any tricks. What are you doing? What should I do now? Should I stick to the original plan or beat Fan Ping up to earn those 50 credits? Fan Ping's expression changed slightly. He smiled and said, Dean, if you defeat me, my credits will be deducted. What if I defeat them? Aspiring martial artists 1 point, martial artists 5 points. You're quite stingy, but it's better than nothing. Fan Ping laughed. He raised the staff in his hand and laughed. You heard me. I fought for your benefits, and you're my benefits too. If martial artists want to fight, then let's start now. As soon as he finished speaking, Fan Ping took a big stride and leaped, landing in the middle of the group of aspiring martial artists. Before the crowd could react, Fan Ping's wooden staff came slashing down with a crackling sound. Ah. F***ck. I didn't say anything about fighting. These people yelled in a mess. Many of them were angry and anxious. They had not made a move yet, But Fang Ping had already done so. Bastard, 1 against 300. Kill him. Some of the martial artists reacted and roared in exasperation. Then, they sprinted toward Fang Ping. Bang! Fang Ping's staff landed on a martial artist's head. He did not even bother to watch him scream. His right leg whipped, and the martial artist who ambushed him from the left was sent flying. Vitality is depleting very quickly. It's fine. I have wealth and points to use. I should be able to use them as money. It's not a loss. Fang Ping made up his mind. He had challenged everyone earlier, and he was disappointed. He felt that the MC Mayu students were far inferior to Wang Jinyang, and he regretted choosing to come to MC Mayu. On the other hand, he wanted to show his strength to the MC Mayu instructors. Now that he had an unexpected gain, it made up for his reluctance to invest. After sending the martial artist who ambushed him flying with a kick, Fang Ping shouted, "Did you not eat? I haven't even warmed up! Arrogant! Fu Chinding, whose side are you on?" Zhao Lei shouted coldly from the crowd, raising his head to look at Fu Chinding. Fu Chinding gritted his teeth and said suddenly, "You're all a bunch of trash. Come on, I'll fight all of you with just the two of us." He had thought it through. What kind of strength could a group attack show? 2 against 300. It was worth it even if he lost. As soon as he finished speaking, Fu Changding picked up the white wax staff he had just picked up and hit a martial artist who was attacking Fang Ping. He shouted, "Dean, I'm Fu Changding. I want to count my points too." "Count!" Huang Jing's voice, which could not be heard clearly, came from the loudspeaker. "Let's do it!" Fu Changding was overjoyed. Every profit counted. After receiving an accurate answer, he immediately gave up on helping the besieged Fang Ping. Instead, he wandered around the periphery, focusing on attacking the aspiring martial artists. Bang! With one hit of the staff, Fu Changding muttered, 3 points! Bang! 4 points! Crack! This looks like a martial artist? 9 points! No, he didn't fall. F***CK, it's still 4 points. Go! Why are you guys still pretending? Do you really want to see us get defeated by the two of them? The martial artist who had been ambushed by Fu Changding was furious. He looked at the martial artist who had not made a move and was so angry that he wanted to vomit blood. Still pretending to be a big shot. Mother Faster, were they retarded? These two fellows were strong. Aspiring martial artists could easily take them down one by one. Only martial artists had the power to intimidate them. Now, the 30 to 40 martial artists on the periphery were watching the show. Were they idiots? If they were really defeated, they could forget about living. Zhao Lei's expression darkened. Yang Xiaoman gritted her teeth and shouted, "Go! Aspiring martial artists, back off! Are you giving us points? Idiots!" Not only were these aspiring martial artists useless, but they had also occupied the space around them. They could not fly. Were they supposed to fly over and join the fight? Many aspiring martial artists retreated hastily. Earlier, they had wanted to snatch points, but some had been dragged into the fight. At this time, many aspiring martial artists were already beaten to a pulp. Some of the more serious ones even fell to the ground and were almost trampled to death. When they heard that martial artists were coming, they did not stay and retreated one by one. Fang Ping, who was surrounded in the center, knocked back an aspiring martial artist with a punch. He laughed and said, "Why are you leaving? There are so many points. They're all money. Don't even think of running. F***CK. Chapter 99. 3 floors below. Quick, there's a fight on the 4th floor. 1 against 300. Go up and see. Shouts spread through the 3 floors below. Soon, a large crowd rushed up to the 4th floor. No one cared if they would be taught a lesson or not. Little Fatty Guishing squeezed into the crowd. As soon as he reached the 4th floor, he saw Fang Ping send a female martial artist flying with a kick. F***CK, hitting a woman! Many people also saw this scene and immediately cursed out loud. Fang Ping did not care about them. He even wanted them to come up. It was all points. Martial artists were not easy to fight. If one did not hit hard, they could stand up immediately. It was too difficult to earn 5 points. Aspiring martial artists were better. 1 punch and 1 kick. They could barely stand up after being hit. That was points. Fang Ping reflected on himself after sending a martial artist flying with a kick. He had not cultivated the stickiness formula well enough. His kick would reduce the force. Fang Ping's vitality had been greatly depleted. He had just spent 10,000 wealth to replenish his vitality. 1 credit was equivalent to 10,000 bucks in MC Mayu, which was equivalent to 30,000 bucks in the outside world. How did the system calculate it? No matter what, an aspiring martial artist was equivalent to at least 10,000 wealth. In just a short while, he had defeated at least a dozen aspiring martial artists and 2 or 3 martial artists. Almost 30 points. It was still a big profit. Fang Ping also realized that female martial artists were easier to bully. With a kick, they were more fragile than twice-honed aspiring martial artists. It was easy to earn points. That was why Fang Ping had his eyes on another female martial artist. After slapping away an aspiring martial artist who was blocking his way, Fang Ping went straight for the female martial artist, his right leg sweeping out. Fang Ping kicked away his opponent's block and punched him in the chest. Bastard! The girl who was hit clutched her chest in pain. Seeing Fang Ping raise his leg to kick, she roared. I admit defeat, okay? Are you still a man? This girl had a pretty face. During high school, because of her good grades, high vitality, and good family background, she was a goddess in the eyes of almost all high school boys. Who knew that on her second day in the martial arts university, a man would beat her until her chest was about to explode? Angry and anxious, coupled with the pain in her chest, the girl let out an angry roar. Without stopping, she turned around and walked to the side to peep at her chest. She was worried that there would be a problem if she was hit. When Fang Ping saw the situation, he immediately shouted, Girls, admit defeat. Fists and kicks don't have eyes. You can't reason with them if you're beaten to a pulp. Bastard! Pervert! Yunqi, what are you standing there for? Go! Yan Xiaoman and Zhao Xiaomei were furious. The 3 of them were also the strongest among all the girls. Yesterday, out of 19 people, only the 3 of them were girls. Now, Fang Ping looked down on girls and even attacked a girl's chest shamelessly. His actions immediately drew the ire of a few people. Yan Xiaoman had just rushed forward when Fang Ping blocked a male martial artist's attack while advising her. Girls, don't rush forward too quickly. Punches and kicks really don't have eyes. I won't be responsible if they get blown up. Die! Yan Xiaoman was furious. Her long leg whipped through the air, aiming straight for Fang Ping's waist. Fang Ping's expression changed slightly. Very strong. A twice-honed martial artist was much stronger than the average martial artist. With no time to dodge, Fang Ping grabbed a person beside him and leaned against him. Yan Xiaoman's leg hit the other person. Ah! A scream like that of a pig being slaughtered rang out, scaring the people around them into moving away from Fang Ping and Yan Xiaoman. Zhao Lei, who was about to attack Fang Ping, shouted angrily. Yan Xiaoman, you're hitting your own people. I didn't see anything. Fang Ping is the shameless one. Mother is a thrice-honed this strong? Zhao Lei did not continue but cursed under his breath. This was the first time he had seen a thrice-honed person. Who knew that Fang Ping was so strong? His attack power was actually similar to his, maybe even slightly weaker. However, Fang Ping was shockingly resilient. After being kicked a few times, he returned to normal after a while. Was he still an aspiring martial artist? Moreover, the other's vitality was weakening since the start of the battle, but this guy showed no signs of weakening. At the back of the crowd, Fu Changding cried out in pain and yelled. I've taken pills. If I can't recover my 10 points, I'll lose big. Fang Ping, help me block. You're on your own. Bastard, if it weren't for you. Fu Changding no longer had the energy to speak. In just a short while, there were 7 or 8 martial artists around him. Fan Ping's endurance was too strong. Moreover, Zhao Lei and Yang Xiaoman were there, so it was not appropriate for them to intervene. They would deal with Fu Changding first. These 2 guys had already incurred the wrath of the crowd yesterday. Today, they came again. If they did not avenge themselves, they would not be human. At the outermost edge, a few students who were not martial artists shouted, Don't huddle together. Martial artists, split into 4 groups and take turns. Zhao Lei, Yang Xiaoman, each of you lead a group and take turns to attack Fang Ping. Chen Yunqi, you lead a group and restrain Fu Changding. The rest of you, form a group and exhaust their vitality. Those who are twice honed, lead 10 people each. Rotate every 5 minutes. Use long weapons to attack and harass them from the outside. Exhaust them to death. Zhao Lei, Fan Ping's pole standing is at level 2. He can divert force. Don't attack his other parts. Fight him head-on. Use your leg bones to kick him. Thrice-honed isn't as sturdy as a fully honed one. Martial artists use their honed parts to fight them head-on. Don't waste your vitality anymore. MCMAU students were knowledgeable. Some of them had good eyesight, but they were lacking in strength. At this time, these people started giving orders from the outside. The crowd that was panicking at first gradually became orderly. Fan Ping also noticed that, following these people's orders, Zhao Lei and the others, who were attacking randomly at first, now focused on one part of his body. Thrice-honed was not a god. Even if his vitality was replenished, his body would still feel pain. Fan Ping clashed head-on with Zhao Lei again. He frowned and cursed. Fu Changding, kill those aspiring martial artists. I can't hold on much longer. Fu Changding was worse off than him. He howled in pain. Shen Yunqi's strength was on par with his. If not for the fact that she was a woman and was not very familiar with combat, she would have been able to hold him back alone. Didn't you want to be a helpless little bird yesterday? How could you be restrained by a woman? Don't talk. I'm so tired. It hurts. I can't talk. Fu Changding wanted to cry. That was not the arrangement yesterday. I wanted a one-on-one battle. It's a battle of attrition, not a siege. It's not 1 or 2, it's 300 people. Although there were only about 10 people at a time due to the limited space around them, if this went on, he would be beaten to death. Fan Ping also realized that this could not go on. He roared, Get out of here. Aspiring martial artists count as points too. There are so many of them. Kill one. Okay. Fu Changding had wanted to do this for a long time. He quickly reached out to grab Chen Yunqi's chest. Chen Yunqi was shocked and quickly dodged. Now, an opening appeared in the encirclement. Fu Changding jumped out of the crowd and squeezed into the crowd of aspiring martial artists. Shameless. How can he get out of here like this? Don't panic. Aspiring martial artists, back off. Make way. The genius commander outside continued to give orders. Just as he finished speaking, the sky above him darkened. Fan Ping had somehow escaped the encirclement, leaped into the air, and kicked him in the face. Pfft. His nose bled and tears streamed down his face. The genius commander who had been wantonly giving orders just now had his face swollen like soy sauce. How could he continue speaking? The other commanders were shocked and quickly moved out of the way. Outside, among the students who were watching the battle from the first 3 floors, someone suddenly said in fear, Run! He's coming for us. Fan Ping, we're just watching. We're innocent. The dean didn't say which floor. Everyone who's here counts as points. 1 point is still a point. Fan Ping roared to prevent the dean from going back on his word. Kicking 3 of these aspiring martial artists at once was the shortcut to earning points. The 9th floor. The instructors were all stunned. MC Mayu's new student branch had been in chaos for so many years, but it had never been as chaotic as today. 2 people had destroyed the entire building of practical training. With the dean fanning the flames and the encouragement of credits, the students had gone crazy. Under normal circumstances, martial artists would rarely involve aspiring martial artists. Although Fang Ping was not a martial artist, he definitely had the combat strength of a martial artist. Now, he was bullying these normal people in the name of earning points. One of the instructors could not stand it anymore. He said angrily, "Dean, it's time to cancel the counting of aspiring martial artists." Huang Jing glanced at him. After a while, he said, "He's also an aspiring martial artist. This Fu Changding can't be, right? He's being surrounded by martial artists. He hasn't come out yet. It's not important." Everyone was speechless. Someone said helplessly, "It's fine. Let it be chaotic. Let these new students suffer. All of them think that they're God's favored ones after entering MC Mayu. They haven't realized it yet. Everything is starting from zero. Almost 70 martial artists and more than 1,000 aspiring martial artists are being bullied by a rank 1 martial artist and an aspiring martial artist. It's. The instructor did not know what to say. It was too embarrassing, and it was an embarrassment to NCMAU's reputation. Chen Zhenhua from the School of Social Sciences said something fair. This Fang Ping is more than thrice honed. His vitality is more than 200 calories. His pole standing has also reached the 2nd level, the firm stance. He can divert force. You should know that pole standing at this level can be called a roly pole standing toy. As for combat techniques, his leg techniques are very sharp. He's very familiar with outbursts and gathering force. He can also use stickiness well, using the smallest amount of force to unleash destructive power. This kind of combat technique seems to be from a martial arts university. Everyone nodded. They were all experienced and knowledgeable. Someone said immediately, "It's from a martial arts university. It's not taught in the military, nor is it a martial arts training class performance method. It's a martial arts university leg technique. He has a deep understanding of it. The instructor who guided him in leg techniques is not weak." "A descendant of a martial arts university instructor?" someone asked doubtfully. The woman who said she was looking for information yesterday smiled and said, "Not really. He's from a normal family. He's from Nanjiang Sun City. This kid said that NMAU offered him a reward of 10 million to keep him. I didn't believe it at first, but now I do." "Normal family?" someone questioned. "How is that possible? We're not surprised that he's from a normal family, even if his vitality is high. But without guidance, his combat techniques and pole standing cultivation can't be this fast. Also, he's thrice honed. Who provided him with the resources?" Huang Jing, who had been silent all this while, said lightly. "Didn't you hear what he said? He knew an MAU student who was very gentlemanly, neither servile nor overbearing. From his tone, it sounded like he admired the other party. Fang Ping graduated from Sun City No. 1 High School, the same high school as NMAU's Wang Jinyang. Rumor has it that Wang Jinyang and Fang Ping are very close. They once worked together to kill a peak rank 2 martial artist in Sun City. Fang Ping regrets not choosing NMAU. Someone offered a reward of 10 million. Let me ask you, with his test result of 149 calories, who in NMAU would do that? Wang Jinyang. Immediately, a teacher thought of this person, causing many exclamations and sighs. Nanjiang did not produce many talents, but in the past year, Wang Jinyang must be counted as one. Even if he was only rank 3 now, he was still very far away from everyone. Huang Jing sighed softly. If I'm not wrong, Fang Ping's leg technique probably came from Wang Jinyang. There's a hint of Zhang Qinan in it. Although an MAU is weak, it's not like they don't have talents. Zhang Qinan isn't considered weak among the rank 5 martial artists. Even if he came to MCMAU, he would have a place. It's a pity that he led a team to suppress the catacombs in Tianan and never returned. Tang Feng, the peak rank 6 instructor from the School of Weaponry, who had come upstairs at some point, also sighed. It's a pity. I've met Shang Qingnan once. He's a rather refined martial artist. His bearing is not bad. In a few years there's hope for rank 6. And MAU's old vice-chancellor is grooming him as his successor. It's a pity. Everyone sighed. Huang Jing coughed softly and said, Let's not talk about this. Haven't there been many people who have fallen into the catacombs these years? Keep watching. No matter what happens to Fang Ping, there are more than 1,000 people. If these two really defeat them in the end, this batch of new students' credits will be deducted by half. Dean! Huang Jing huffed. A new student guided by an MAU sophomore actually defeated an entire batch of MCMAU students. MCMAU can't afford to lose face like this. I can't either. The Vice-Chancellor and the others can't either. If it's not allowed, I'll kick all these new students out of the school. Deducting half credits is a must. Qin Zhenhua and the others knew that this decision could not be changed. Even if the Vice-Chancellor was present, he would not object. After some consideration, Qin Zhenhua turned on the microphone and coughed softly. There's still 10 minutes. If Fang Ping and Fu Changding don't collapse, all new students' credits will be deducted by half. 4th floor. Everyone's eyes turned red. Half credits. Yesterday, everyone did not know the importance of credits. Now everyone knew that 3 credits were equivalent to a normal vitality pill. Even the students who did not have high vitality were going crazy. This is an undeserved calamity. What does this have to do with us? All students will be deducted by half. Why? Kill him. Hurry up. There's not enough time. We'll kill him even if we spit on him. Go down and get a long weapon. Hit him from a distance. The students were going crazy. Fang Ping could barely stand. At this moment, he was spending most of his time running. His dodging ability was still acceptable because his pole standing was at a high level. His whole body had turned purple from the head-on clash earlier. Vitality could not be used as a painkiller. Fang Ping looked at the crowd with bloodshot eyes and started to worry. Would he be beaten to death? He was worried. Fu Changding was screaming. I surrender. I surrender. Brothers and sisters, can I surrender? I'm not the mastermind. Fang Ping is. Don't hit my face. I beg you, Fang Ping, you bastard. Don't stab me there. Don't kick my dick. Sir, I surrender. Fu Changding, who was surrounded again and again, could not even cry now. He could not take it anymore. It would be useless even if he took all 3 vitality pills. They were not made of steel. They would feel pain when they were beaten. He could still take it 1-on-1 or 1-on-10. But 1-on-1 against 100, round after round, he really could not take it anymore. Soon, Fu Changding's voice disappeared. Fang Ping heard someone shouting, Don't step on him. What if he dies? This one's dead. There's not enough time. Quick, the next one. Fang Ping shuddered. Looking at the dense crowd around him, he suddenly leaped up and grabbed the bars of the exhaust vent above his head, shouting, I admit defeat. I'll count as falling to the ground. I admit that MCMAU's new students are awesome. In your dreams. Zhao Lei covered his bruised eye from the beating and roared fiercely. Yang Xiaoman rubbed her chest without batting an eyelid. She sneered. Come down. You're so small. Do you want to be our target? Come down. We won't kill you. In the crowd, the chubby boy rubbed his head. It was swollen. Who did I offend? He was just watching the show from the outside, but Fang Ping had punched him in the head. He was still dizzy. I'm not coming down. Don't come over. I'll kill whoever comes over. Time's almost up. Those on the 4th floor, why aren't you chasing people away? Do you want your credits to be deducted? I've already surrendered. Plus, I remember I only defeated 50 or so aspiring martial artists and 20 or so martial artists. There aren't that many people. Don't stare at me. I'm hurt too. It's serious. Internal injuries. Go away. Looking at the faces around him that wanted to tear him apart, Fang Ping was a little scared. There were so many of them. If they all hit him, would they kill him? Looking at Fu Changding, who was crawling on the ground not far away, Fang Ping shuddered. How tragic. Fu Changding's clothes were almost gone. He did not know which girl had done this to him. His back was covered in bloody claw marks. Fang Ping held onto the vent, refusing to let go no matter what. The others wanted to stab him with their long weapons, but seeing that there was not much time left, Xiao Lei asked unwillingly. Dean, will our credits still be deducted if we admit defeat? This time, Huang Jing was silent for a moment. After a while he said, No! Count yourself lucky! Xiao Lei snorted. He turned his head and said angrily, Clear the area! It was not that they did not want to continue, but they really did not have much time left. Also, Fang Ping was still full of energy. Although he had surrendered, it was obvious that he still had the strength to fight. This lunatic. Who knew how many pills he had taken beforehand? Was he not afraid of exploding and dying? If they continued attacking, the unlucky one would definitely be Fang Ping, but if they caught one and gave him a good beating, that person would also be at a disadvantage. As for whether it was himself or Yang Xiaoman, Xiao Lei felt that it was more likely that he was the one. After glaring at Fang Ping angrily, the crowd dispersed. Before they left, Xiao Lei did not forget to step on Fu Changding's foot. F***ck, those two bastards, they made everyone lose face. Yang Xiaoman and the other girls were also full of unwillingness, but they let Fang Ping go in the end. When they passed by Fu Changding, they did not forget to give him a kick. Fang Ping shuddered. Fu Changding was really miserable this time. Fang Ping! Fu Changding moaned in pain. His shoe-marked face looked at Fang Ping, full of anger and resentment. What happened to the one-on-one fight? Chapter 100. 20 minutes later. Outside the testing building. A group of older students were watching from the surroundings. When they saw many freshmen walking out of the building with bruised faces, they were all gloating. It seems like I've been beaten quite a lot this year. Who cares, it's really fun to watch. Last year, we were also surrounded by people and embarrassed ourselves. This year, it's finally our turn to watch the show. What's going on? Is that Fu Changding? The one who was very arrogant yesterday was beaten into a pig's head? F***ck, you can even recognize this. What a genius! Even his parents wouldn't recognize him, right? Yesterday left a deep impression on me. It reminded me of my demeanor in the past. I also thought that he would be beaten up today, but he was really beaten up. Everyone discussed animatedly with a mocking look on their faces. Fu Changding was helped out by Fang Ping. When he heard the mocking words of the people around him, he said angrily, I fought 1,000 people alone. Even if I lose, I'll still be proud. TSK. I knew he was shameless. Yesterday, the two of them sang a duet, and today, he's doing it alone. 1 against 10, they believed it. This was because such incidents were not rare in the past. Although they despised Fu Changding was still capable. Everyone could see that yesterday. But 1 against 1,000, would everyone believe it? None of the older students believed him, and most of the new students remained silent. Some of the more shallow ones retorted angrily. What do you mean 1 against 1,000? 2 people, all right? You're just a bystander. As soon as these words came out, many new students glared at him angrily. Idiot! Everyone had thought it through. They would keep quiet and let them say it themselves. Even if they did, no one would believe them. The fact that Fang Ping was able to stand up for such an embarrassing matter, regardless of whether he won or lost, was a disgrace to everyone else. Now, there was actually an idiot who retorted. Didn't this prove that their 1,000 or so people had really been defeated? This kind of person had actually managed to get into MC Mayu. Even Zhao Lei and the others doubted if what Fang Ping said made sense. MC Mayu was getting worse with each batch. It was really not that great. He had to deny such a shameful thing. Even if he didn't deny it, he had to face it with silence. Idiot! The words of the new student stunned the surrounding seniors. Really? Was it really penetrated? 2 people. The other one is Fang Ping? That should be the case. Look at how the 2 of them are separated by the others. That might really be the case, 1 against more than 1,000, do you believe it? I don't believe it, not to mention that Fang Ping isn't injured. Fang Ping was indeed uninjured, at least on the surface. He was wearing a tight-fitting training outfit with long sleeves. His face was not injured, and the injuries were not too obvious. Fu Changding was different. His face was swollen, and there were dense footprints all over his body. It was obvious that he had been beaten up. Therefore, no one believed that the 2 of them could really accomplish such a magnificent feat. Just as the freshmen were silent and the seniors were in a heated discussion, a group of people walked out of the building's entrance. Huang Jing pulled a long face and scoffed. The seniors have all left. If you have the time, spend it on practicing and studying. MCMU students have lost all face because of you. No one knew if he was referring to the freshmen or seniors, but the dean of the School of Weaponry was enraged. This was a Grandmaster powerhouse. Even the older students did not dare to joke around with the Grandmaster, except for Qing Fengqing, who was always courting death. The spectating students dispersed and peeped from the windows of the nearby buildings, not daring to approach. After the seniors left, Huang Jing said lightly, "Line up according to the floor." More than 1,000 freshmen hurriedly lined up according to the floor they had decided before the doors opened. No one dared to make up the numbers. A martial artist's memory was stronger than that of an average person. Moreover, there were surveillance cameras. Playing tricks in front of a grandmaster was asking for abuse. Each batch is worse than the last. Huang Jing waited for everyone to finish lining up and scolded softly. There was dissatisfaction and admonishment. Although there were only about 100 people who actually participated, there were so many of them, and Fang Ping managed to fish in troubled waters until the end. MC Mayu was not a school that cultivated individual geniuses. MC Mayu and NMAU were different. NMAU had been weak for many years and needed a genius now. They needed a banner to carry the torch. MC Mayu, on the other hand, cultivated more geniuses, countless geniuses. Now, only Fang Ping and Fu Changding performed well. The others had lost face. This was not a situation Huang Jing wanted to see. Although he was angry, he still had the mentality of a grandmaster. Huang Jing calmed his anger and continued. The school allocation has ended. Some performed well, some performed badly. 1 step behind, and you will always fall behind. All of your performances today, including me, have been observed by the instructors. If the first impression is bad, do you think the instructors will look at you differently in the future? There are so many geniuses. We can cultivate and support them, but you have to show your value. If we can't see your value, why should we nurture you? Just because you're an MCMAU student? Of course, don't be arrogant in victory or discouraged in defeat. Today was just a bunch of kids messing around. Even if you become the king of kids, there's no need to be overly arrogant. No matter how powerful the king of kids is, he's still the king of kids. In front of adults, he's still an insensible child. Huang Jing's words were not meant to suppress Fang Ping and Fu Changding, but the truth. Not to mention the instructors, even if Fang Ping, who had performed extremely well today, was thrown into any of the sophomores and juniors, it would not be a big deal. If they really thought that they could look down on MC Mayu just because they showed off their power among the new students, then they were underestimating MC Mayu too much. Even if Wang Jinyang came to MC Mayu now, If he really wanted to suppress him, there were at least 10 people among the entire MC students who could. For rank 4, MC still had 6 students who had not graduated. As for rank 5, MC still had 2 students who had not graduated. It was just that these middle-ranked rank 4 and 5 martial artists rarely stayed in school. Some guarded the catacombs, some went to the Department of Investigation Services for internships, and some went to the local, or the military department to assist those feudal officials. Huang Jing gave a few simple words of advice and did not stay for long. As a Grand Master, he had a lot of things to do now. It was not easy for him to find time to watch these new students play house. As soon as Huang Jing left, an instructor shouted, "School of Weaponry, come to Field 1! School of Tactics, come to Field 2! Fan Ping followed the crowd to Field 1. He could not help but whisper, "Where are the credits?" Fu Changding said sheepishly, "I don't know. Maybe the dean felt embarrassed, so, shut up, both of you." At this time, Tang Feng from the School of Weaponry appeared behind the two of them. He said, somewhat speechless, "Is the dean that kind of person? After the school has distributed the credits, they'll all be distributed to you. Do you think the dean will personally show up for tens or hundreds of credits?" To a grandmaster, this kind of thing was as insignificant as a sesame seed or a mung bean. So what if it was tens of thousands of credits? After saying that, Tang Feng smiled and said, "You did well, especially Fu Changding." Huh! Fu Changding was stunned for a moment. Fan Ping was a little disgruntled. "Did I not do well?" Tang Feng smiled faintly. "I'm referring to my opinion. I don't like students who are too crafty. Fu Changding is straightforward, which suits my style better. He was known for his aggressive ways, and people called him Mad Lion." Fu Changding had first challenged Tang Songting, and then, when surrounded by so many students, he did not retreat. It was a little too much to say that Fu Changding did not retreat. All in all, Tang Feng still thought highly of Fu Changding. As for Fan Ping, he thought highly of him too. However, an instructor like him would have no problem taking in one Fu Changding, but it would be too much to take in Fan Ping as well. In this year, these two had the best performance. Although he was a peak rank 6 and was known as the first person under the dean, there were many rank 6 instructors. There was no need to fall out with one student. If he took in Fu Changding, he would let them fight for Fan Ping. Given his status, no one would try to snatch Fu Changding away from him. Naturally, there was no need to say all this out loud, but both of them understood what it meant when he said he thought highly of Fu Changding. Fu Changding was a little embarrassed. He was very anxious now. What should he do? He thought highly of instructor Luo Yichuan, but his performance was too good. The top instructor of the School of Weaponry, Tang Feng, actually thought highly of him. This was not an ordinary instructor. If he rejected him, would it not seem like he did not know what was good for him? If he did not reject him, did he have to learn hand-to-hand combat with Tang Feng? He wanted to learn spears. Spear techniques were so cool. Saber techniques were so crude. Swordsmanship was so girly. He did not want to learn other things like clubs, hammers, and axes. Spear techniques were so cool. Learning hand-to-hand combat. Fu Changding was conflicted. Do I look like the kind of boorish guy who looks strong? For a moment, Fu Changding wanted to cry, but no tears came out. What's with the instructor's eyes? I was beaten up so badly, yet he thinks highly of me and even said that I performed well. There's no justice in this world. Fu Changding was resentful. Fan Ping was helpless. Guixing was at a loss. Who am I? Where am I? That was probably what Guixing was thinking. He had no idea what had happened. First, he had been beaten up while watching the show, then he had expressed his indignation at Fan Ping. After that, there was no after that. After that, the others had gone to clean up the unnecessary people. He stood alone in a corner, dumbfounded. No one paid attention to him. He did not leave either. Yes, he did not leave. He only wanted to ask Fang Ping why he had beaten him up. That was why he had stood near Fang Ping, ready to ask him when he came down. "I'm so kind, why did you beat me up?" Maybe it was because no one wanted to come to Fang Ping's place. Plus, there were enough people, so no one chased him away. When the building opened, he was already on the 4th floor. There were no waves, no ups and downs, just like that, he followed the School of Weaponry team in a daze. He walked until he started to doubt his life. How did I get into the School of Weaponry? Field 1. At this moment, the instructors of the School of Weaponry had set up a platform on the field. Tang Feng did not waste any time. He walked to his platform and said, "You can choose your instructor freely. Remember, look carefully at the conditions in front of the instructor. Everyone knows that the instructors don't know the same things. What suits you is the best. Some instructors are strong, but they don't know how to teach students. Some instructors might be weaker now, but they're much stronger than you guys. Don't bite off more than you can chew. Don't think that you're omnipotent and that even rank 4 and rank 5 can't teach you. Alright, let's not waste any more time. Hurry up and choose. Once you've chosen, you'll have a day off tomorrow. The day after tomorrow, you'll have a week of group training. After that, classes will officially start." As soon as he finished speaking, many people ran to Tang Feng. The instructors did not bother to explain to them one by one. Their conditions were written on the table in front of them. Martial artists, male or female. Twice honed is preferred. Teach basic fist techniques and basic leg techniques. Only 5 people at level 08. This was Tang Feng's requirement. It was not high, but it was not low either. At least one martial artist seemed to have eliminated Fang Ping. Of course, if Fang Ping really chose him, Tang Feng would not reject him. Instructors usually would not reject twice-honed or thrice-honed students. Fang Ping glanced at it, then looked at the other instructors. Instructor Luo Yichuan, whom Fu Changding had his eyes on, had much higher requirements. Martial artists, or vitality of more than 180 calories. Honing upper limbs first. Stable stance. Fu Changding saw it too. He said gloomily, "What's going on? I honed my lower limbs first. Can't I?" As he said that, he did not hesitate, and quickly looked at Instructor Bai Ruoxi's conditions. Female. No limit to honing progress. Love swordsmanship. Teach basic sword techniques. Swordsmanship has many variations. Don't choose those who use big moves. F*CK, they're only recruiting girls. Fu Changding was even more frustrated. If he went to Luo Yichuan might not reject him. Tang Feng had already tried to recruit him. It was not that he did not have a choice. He just felt conflicted. Fang Ping ignored him and continued looking. Soon, Fang Ping saw Instructor Su Jianzhou, whom he had wanted to choose yesterday. Fang Ping had never seen this instructor before. However, the instructor's nameplate was on the table, so he was not afraid of being mistaken. No limit to male or female. Twice honed is better. Teach basic sword techniques. Note, many things have been happening recently. Neglecting teaching students. Mainly taught by Luo Feng, a 4th-year student. Fang Ping frowned. Lion Tang did not think highly of him. He thought Fu Changding was better. Fang Ping had his own pride and did not want to choose Big Lion. As for Luo Yichuan, it did not matter if he had spear techniques or not. However, he wanted to focus on honing the upper limbs. Fang Ping was not suitable because he wanted to focus on the lower limbs when he cultivated the horse riding stance. Of course, it was the same when he reached rank 2. Fang Ping felt that he could reach rank 2 soon. Su Jianzhou did not have high requirements. He would not have a problem. However, he wanted his own student to teach him. This was not what Fang Ping wanted. In the School of Weaponry, there were a total of 5 rank 6 instructors. As for the other 2, one of them was a slightly older elder. He specialized in palm techniques, not the mainstream leg techniques or fist techniques, but palm techniques. His pair of iron palms was also quite famous. Fan Ping did not like it. It was too restrictive. The other was the middle-aged woman from before. Her name was Awesome. It was really awesome. Many students were peeking at her. Unconquerable Wu. Yes, she was awesome and confident. Her name was Unconquerable Wu. Fan Ping was stunned. Fu Changding did not mention this person yesterday. Where did this new instructor come from? And the other party's recruitment conditions were also very awesome. Fan Ping, Fu Changding, Zhao Lei, Yang Xiaoman, Qin Yunqi, 5 of you can become official students. Zhao Xuemei, Tang Songting, Jin Lei, Sui Kai, Zhang Han. 14 of you can become intern students. If you perform well, you can become official students. Fan Ping was sure that he was not mistaken. It was the 19 people who had withstood the pressure yesterday. Among them, he was a thrice-honed martial artist. Fu Changding and the other 3 were twice-honed martial artists. That was why they could become official students. The others had the title of intern students. Did the dean know how awesome this woman was? Did the dean know? Unconquerable Wu. This stupid name. Was it real? Fan Ping was not the only one watching. Many students were watching. Even some instructors were watching. The corners of their mouths were twitching. Goddamn Unconquerable Wu! Tang Feng wanted to gouge his eyes out. What kind of tricks did this crazy woman come up with? The other rank 6 instructors also moved their desks discreetly. The omen for martial arts universities this year was not good. It was better to stay away from these abnormal people. Just as Fan Ping was about to look away, Unconquerable Wu seemed to have noticed his gaze. She chuckled and said, Fan Ping, come to me. I'll make sure you're safe. Otherwise, you're done for. Wang Jinyang has enemies all over the world. No one can protect you. He's beaten up Tang Feng's students, Luo Yichuan's students, Su Jianzhou's students. He's beaten up all of them except mine. Don't think I'm joking. In the battle of martial arts, losing to someone of the same level is a huge grudge. If Wang Jinyang is not defeated, they won't let it go. Wang Jinyang doesn't want to lose, so this grudge is set. You don't want to face your enemies every day. Also, you've offended all the new students this time. Your enemies are all over the world. If you don't come to me, even Lionhead can't protect you. Tang Feng's expression darkened. He said impatiently, My students aren't that narrow-minded. Unconquerable Wu said mildly, It's fine if we're from the same hometown, but what about Half-Master? Lionhead, can you guarantee that your students won't hold a grudge? You! Tang Feng snorted and no longer paid any attention to him. Being from the same hometown, the same school, and the same desk, it was fine. It did not involve martial arts. However, if it was Half-Master, it would be different. If Fan Ping and his students were of the same rank, and they were in the same school, it was almost certain that unless the other party was completely beaten into submission, Fan Ping would not have peace. Half-Master? At this moment, many people frowned slightly. Some instructors did not look too good. Old Wang did not give them face when he came to Magic City. Many of their students had been beaten up miserably. If they really took Fan Ping in, there might be internal strife among the students. Of course, they were not afraid of anything. If Fan Ping really came, they would take him in. However, if there was a conflict between him and their students, the most they could guarantee was that no higher-ranked students would bully Fan Ping because of their ranks. As for normal sparring, they could not stop it. Looking at the instructor's expressions, Fan Ping felt like he had been tricked. With his performance, it would not be a problem for him to go to any instructor, including Tang Feng. However, after Unconquerable Wu said this, although the instructors did not show anything, judging by their expressions, it would still be a little troublesome. He and Wang Jinyang did not interact much, so it was difficult for outsiders to know their exact relationship. Unconquerable Wu was obviously guessing, and he threw out this guess irresponsibly. For a moment, Fan Ping's expression did not look too good. Anyone who had been tricked would find it hard to accept this fact immediately. Unconquerable Wu did not care if he was willing or not. He laughed and said, "Come, join me, Unconquerable Wu. I promise you won't regret it. In MC Mayu, although my strength is not as good as a Grandmaster's, Lionhead is no match for me either. I have dividend shares in the pill manufacturing company. You can have all the pills you want. If you're bullied, just give me a call. I, your instructor, will kill them from the south to the north without a frown." Back then, the old thing from Donghu Fang family bullied me because he was a grandmaster. I hunted him down for 10 years. Everyone knows that I, Unconquerable Wu, hold a grudge. Do you understand? Your instructor is protected by a grandmaster. Fang Ping was dumbfounded. The other instructors were a little embarrassed to be associated with him. Chapter 101. Unconquerable Wu's words stirred up a commotion among the students. As the target of recruitment, Fang Ping also became the focus of everyone's attention. Fang Ping did not say anything. Was this kind of instructor good? It did sound good. At least her "take all the pills" and "have a grandmaster's protection" sounded good. However, Unconquerable Wu was very unreliable. A newbie like Fang Ping needed a reliable instructor to guide him in martial arts cultivation. Fang Ping did not have a family background and did not understand many things. He needed someone to guide him. Unconquerable Wu did not look like that kind of person. However, because of the woman's irresponsible words, Fang Ping realized that many of the instructor's students had conflicts with old Wang. Losing once might not make people hold a grudge. Usually, they would not even remember it if they did not see each other. However, if someone brought it up on purpose and said that you were not even as good as the disciple of the person who defeated you, how would you feel? Fang Ping was not Wang Jinyang's student. The woman did not say that either. She said, "Half an instructor," and Fang Ping did not deny it. Could they really ignore the fact that the student of their enemy was studying in the same sect as them? Even if they had no ill intentions, they would not be able to take it if they challenged you every day. Fang Ping felt a headache coming on. The woman's ability to trick people was top-notch. MC Mayu students did not only look at the benefits in front of them. Of course, some were tempted by the woman's extravagant words, but many still kept their cool. Zhao Lei chose Tang Feng, Qinyanqi chose Bai Ruoxi, and the others walked toward the instructor they had chosen. Fu Changding hesitated for a moment before walking toward Luo Yichuan. For them, rank 2 was not too far away. It was not something they could not make up for, so they did not have to worry too much about it. In the end, only Fang Ping and Yang Xiaoman had not chosen among the 5 official students that Unconquerable Wu had mentioned. Yang Xiaoman was not hesitating because of Unconquerable Wu, but because of Tang Feng or Bai Ruoxi. She was a girl. Choosing Bai Ruoxi was not a bad choice, even if Bai Ruoxi's ability was slightly lower. However, swordsmanship was ever-changing. She did not walk the nimble path, so it was not suitable for her. After hesitating for a moment, Yang Xiaoman walked toward Tang Feng. Unconquerable Wu did not mind. The students had the freedom to choose their own instructor. Even if Fang Ping did not choose her, she would not feel anything. What she had said earlier was just out of character. She did not mean that Fang Ping had to choose her no matter what. Thrice honing was not bad, but if these instructors were willing to invest and spend time, they could also nurture students who were thrice honed out of these ordinary students. Just as Fang Ping gritted his teeth and prepared to go to Su Jianzhou's side, Unconquerable Wu suddenly laughed. "Choose another instructor. With your situation, you'll only be rank 4 at most after you graduate in your senior year. If you come to my place, things might be different." As soon as she finished speaking, Tang Feng softly reprimanded. Lu Wu Woody glared at him. Tang Feng snorted but did not call out her name. Instead, he frowned and said, "You can fool around, but you still have to know your limits." The fact that Fang Ping was able to reach this stage under such circumstances and complete thrice honing meant that he had sacrificed much more than the others. It's fine if you mess around, but don't treat the student's future as a game. Unconquerable Wu said unhappily. How did I treat my students' futures as a game? You know very well. Tang Feng seemed to have remembered something. He looked at Fang Ping and said, Don't take what you said about Wang Jinyang seriously. Wang Jinyang is just a student. Although he is outstanding, MCMU is not to the extent that they would be jealous of and oppress a student. Those seniors of yours also lost to Wang Jinyang fair and square. If someone really wants to cause trouble for you because of their failure, it means that their temperament is not good. These kinds of seniors will not be a threat to you. You're thrice honed and performed very well in the school branch. No matter who you choose, none of the instructors here will hide anything from you. As MCMAU instructors, we have our own selfish motives. However, as long as you're our student, even if you're not, when you have doubts, we will give you guidance as long as we have the time. MCMAU is a school. All rivers run into the sea. It's not the mountain gate of the past. The reason why instructors are allowed to choose a certain number of students is because our energy is limited. It doesn't mean that we are these students' private instructors. Fang Ping, how you choose is up to you. Don't worry that not choosing someone will negatively affect you. These words were obviously meant for Unconquerable Wu to hear. The woman humped but did not say anything. She only said lightly, What Lionhead said is that my students will be more dangerous. I don't deny that. However, since you've chosen martial arts, of course you have to learn how to fight. If you study step by step, you can graduate smoothly, but what about after graduation? Among the martial arts grandmasters today, how many of them reach the pinnacle of their lives after graduating smoothly? Many grandmasters become grandmasters because they dare to challenge others but do not dare to. They are capable but do not. Fan Ping, I know a little about your situation. Do you have a large family to support your cultivation? Do you have a rank 6 or even rank 7 grandfather or grandmother? You don't even have a martial artist in your family. Are you counting on your family to help you go further? Fu Chongding's grandfather is a peak rank 6 powerhouse. Even if he didn't enter MC Miyu, it wouldn't be difficult for him to reach the middle ranks with his family's financial resources. Xiao Lei's father is also a rank 5 martial artist. He runs his own business. Most of the others are like that. What do you have? It's better to rely on yourself than others. If you don't dare to fight, how far do you think you can go? Since you know Wang Jinyang, you should know that it was much more difficult for him to get to where he is now. What's the benefit of offending a large number of rank 1 martial artists in Magic City? Is it necessary to go to the north and challenge peak rank 3 martial artists one by one? Because he has no choice. If he doesn't fight, he won't be able to get to where he is now. If what Unconquerable Wu said before was a little unreliable and reckless, then what she said now hit the nail on the head. Yes, Fang Ping was different from others. He did not have a powerful father to support his cultivation. He could only rely on himself. If he did not fight, how could he compete with others? The other instructors could guide him in his cultivation and give him a certain amount of help when appropriate, but Fang Ping was not their son. Who would support him without hesitation to continue on his path? Fang Ping exhaled softly. He looked at Unconquerable Wu and said, Instructor, if I study under you, is there any difference between learning from other instructors? Unconquerable Wu smiled faintly. There's not much difference. There are just more missions, more places to go, and more knowledge. Of course, at the same time, it's more dangerous. There are some places that Lionhead and the others can't go, but I can. Lionhead and the others have more students, and I have fewer. In comparison, I can spend more time on you. That's all. As for the rest, you'll have to fight for it yourself. Do you really think that I'll give you pills without reservations? I was just saying. Fang Ping was speechless. The other students wanted to laugh but dared not. They felt that this instructor was not very reliable. Fan Ping breathed a sigh of relief. He did not believe that there was a free lunch in the sky. MC Mayu's instructor was not a master in the past. They only had 4 years to interact. After 4 years, it was up to the students whether or not they would recognize this instructor. Under these circumstances, even if the instructor was biased toward the students, it would be limited. They would not go bankrupt just to cultivate the students, who did not have their own children and families. No more indecisiveness. Just based on what the instructor said about getting dividends in the pill company and going to places that others can't, coupled with unconquerable Wu's analysis of the other students and himself, Fan Ping decided to take a gamble. Suppressing the slight unhappiness from being tricked, Fan Ping stepped forward and said respectfully, "Instructor, I'll be learning from you from now on." Unconquerable Wu smiled. Tang Feng did not try to persuade him. He only looked at Unconquerable Wu and said, "You have to be responsible for your students. In the past few years, you've taught 12 students. More than half of them died before they even graduated." Fan Ping's expression changed. The other students who were about to walk over suddenly stopped in their tracks. Fan Ping was about to curse in his heart. "Why didn't Big Lion say so earlier?" Unconquerable Wu's expression did not look good either. She said lightly, "You don't have to worry. I know what I'm doing." "I hope so." Their conversation ended there. On Unconquerable Wu's side, because of Tang Feng's words, there was only one person besides Fan Ping who came. Zhao Xiume. The average-looking girl was a female martial artist. She was not twice-honed, but her pole-standing and combat techniques were not weak. Fan Ping did not expect that after Tang Feng's words, someone would still choose Unconquerable Wu, and a woman at that. The woman herself was a little surprised. She had no intention of blaming Tang Feng. He had said it, and it was the truth. However, after Tang Feng said it, someone still came. This was a little strange. This girl had guts. The assignment of instructors gradually came to an end. After the assignment of instructors, the students were divided into classes. The classes were mainly for cultural studies and theory classes. The instructors that everyone chose were mainly to guide them in their daily cultivation, not theory. The 400 students were divided into 8 classes. This was because everyone's progress was different. Some people had not even cultivated the methods of honing and pole standing, while some were already martial artists. Naturally, they would not be assigned to the same class. Although Fan Ping was not a martial artist, his progress was not slow. In the end, he was assigned to Class 1. The first 3 classes were mainly for martial artists, and aspiring martial artists who already had a certain level of foundation. The last 5 classes were mainly for normal students who did not know anything at all. After the assignment of classes and instructors, the day's mission was completed. Before Unconquerable Wu left, she threw an access card to Fan Ping and Zhao Xiume. "In the beginning, you will mainly attend theory classes and cultural studies. As full-time instructors, we will rarely give you individual guidance, unless it's a major class. However, the 2 of you are a martial artist and a thrice-honed, so you should have a certain understanding of those things. If you have any questions in your spare time, you can look for me at the instructor's dormitory. Especially Fan Ping, if you need to apply for a breakthrough, you can look for me. When the next semester comes and you've passed the adaptation stage, we'll have a lot more time to interact." As she spoke, Unconquerable Wu thought for a moment and threw a bottle of pills at each of them. "Normal vitality pills, used to replenish vitality. You'll have to fight for the good ones. These normal pills are only for saving time and recovering vitality. Use them as you see fit." After saying that, the woman left without saying anything else. Fan Ping and Zhao Xiume were at a loss. They were not the only ones. The other students felt the same way. They had gone through the instructor selection with a bang, but the instructors were so irresponsible. Most of them left after saying a few words. Some of the instructors were slightly better. They brought some students to meet their seniors, but most of the instructors had no intention of doing so. Fang Ping picked up the pill bottle in his hand and looked at it. Unconquerable Wu was not stingy. She gave him a bottle of normal vitality pills, and each bottle contained 10 pills. If he bought it outside, it would be worth millions. Even in school, it would cost 30 credits to exchange for one bottle. From this point alone, it seemed like she was telling the truth when she said she got a bonus from the pill company. Zhao Xiaomei was shocked. She did not expect the instructor to give her a bottle of vitality pills right off the bat. The two of them looked at each other. Fang Ping laughed dryly. "Hello, I'm Fang Ping, I know." Zhao Xiaomei's tone was not pleasant. She huffed. "You kicked me just now. I haven't forgotten." After saying that, she introduced herself. Zhao Xiaomei. The two of them were speechless after saying their names. After all, they were not familiar with each other, and Fang Ping had just beaten her up. At that moment, Fu Changding and the others walked over. Yan Xiaoman pulled Zhao Xiaomei back and gave Fang Ping a dissatisfied look. She huffed softly. "You actually chose the same instructor as him. Xiaomei, you should have chosen instructor Tang Feng like me." Zhao Xiaomei smiled. "It's nothing. When choosing an instructor, of course I have to choose one that suits me. I think Instructor Wu is quite suitable for me." Yan Xiaoman laughed. "Her surname is Liu. What Instructor Wu? Do you really think her name is Unconquerable Wu?" Obviously, Yan Xiaoman knew something. She was not the only one. Fu Changding knew something about it too. Seeing that the girls did not like him and Fang Ping, he did not pester them. He pulled Fang Ping along as they walked. "The instructor's choice is usually up to themselves. I didn't try to persuade you just now." "Instructor Liu, oh, I mean your instructor. Her full name is Liu Fengru. Instructor Liu's strength is actually not bad. You could say she's no weaker than Instructor Tang Feng. Before I came, I heard from my elders that if we meet Instructor Liu, try not to choose her." Actually, Instructor Liu isn't one of the new student instructors this time. I thought she was attending the opening ceremony when she was at the podium. That's why I didn't mention her when I introduced her to you. Instead, I introduced another rank 6 instructor. Who knew that she'd been replaced when I arrived? I'm not too sure about the details, but it's just like what Instructor Tang Feng said. In the past few years, Instructor Liu's students have had a higher casualty rate. Fang Ping thought for a while and asked, "She doesn't have the habit of deliberately harming students, right?" Fu Changding laughed. "That's impossible. She might have a weird personality, but almost all martial arts university instructors won't harm students. If that's the case, neither the dean nor the vice-chancellor would let her continue teaching. Then there's no problem." Fang Ping knew that Liu Fengru did not deliberately harm students. Although he was a little worried about the high casualty rate, he did not think too much about it. He had chosen his own path, and there were indeed high returns. At least, the 10 normal vitality pills in his hands were proof. After thinking for a while, Fang Ping said, "Oh, right. You mentioned that we should go to the logistics department to collect our credits. Are you going to the logistics department or the hospital now?" "Why are we going to the hospital?" Fu Changding looked suspicious. Fang Ping glanced at him and said calmly, "My face is a little swollen. I almost didn't recognize you just now. Are you sure you don't want to go?" Chapter 102. Half an hour later. The university's logistics department. The logistics department occupied a 3-story building. Most of MCMAU's buildings were in the form of service halls, and the logistics department was no exception. The first floor was divided into 3 areas. The left corner had 5 windows, which were the new students' services. There were a total of 20 windows on the right, and 15 windows on the left. These 35 windows were all for the senior students, including credit inquiry and redemption. Right in front of them was a row of 10 windows, which were responsible for resource exchange. When Fang Ping and the others arrived, there were both new and old students in the hall. Some of the old students were even carrying weapons, and their auras were intimidating. It looked like they had just returned from a mission. The old students were very quiet, looking straight ahead as they lined up quietly. The new students, on the other hand, could not help but look around curiously. Obviously, many people did not expect MC Mayu's arrangement to be so different from other universities. It was also Fu Changdeng's first time here. He looked around curiously, which attracted a lot of attention. This guy was really too eye-catching. His face was getting more and more swollen. It was hard to associate him with the handsome, sunny guy from before. Many of the new students had not arrived yet, and there were not many people in front of Fang Ping and the others in the queue. Soon, it was Fang Ping and the others' turn. Fu Changdeng hurried forward, craning his neck to ask, "Help me check my credits." The staff was not surprised at all. Pigs were not rare either. He said calmly, "Name, student number, and dormitory number. When your martial arts licenses are issued, you can just swipe them. I need to check now." Fu Changdeng, New Students Area 1, Room 15. Student number is. Wait a moment. After a while, the staff looked up and said, "Basic credits are 50 points. Instructor Tang Feng just said that Dean Huang Jing awarded you 45 credits, 95 points in total." "Only 45 points?" Fu Changdeng said gloomily. "So little? I remember that I killed a large number of martial artists. Why are there so few?" The staff ignored him and said calmly, "Instructor Tang Feng arranged it. You can appeal." Fu Changdeng was embarrassed. He did not dare to appeal. He had just chosen Instructor Luo Yichuan, and Tang Feng might be unhappy. Fang Ping ignored him and went forward. Fang Ping, New Students Area 1, Room 86. Student number is. Basic credits 50 points. Awarded credits 152 points. The staff member was slightly surprised. He lifted his head to look at Fang Ping and said, "A total of 202 credits. It's been quite a few years. It's very rare for a new student to have so many credits when he just arrived." Fang Ping asked, "Other than exchanging credits for pills, are there any other uses?" "Of course, there are many uses for academic credits." The staff member explained. "This includes the use of some training grounds and auxiliary equipment. Under normal circumstances, the school has public areas that you can use for free. However, to use it alone or to use some high-end auxiliary equipment, he would have to spend his own credits. In addition, the credits could be used for food that could replenish one's vitality. They could also be used to change dormitories. For example, if one felt that their current dormitory was not good enough, they could change to a better place. In short, in MC Mayu, there was no problem that one could not solve after learning decomposition. Of course, I advise you new students to use your credits wisely when you have less credits. Exchanging for more pills for cultivation was more important than enjoying life. In addition, credits could be exchanged for cash. 1 credit was worth 10,000 yuan. Cash can also be exchanged for credits. 30,000 for 1 credit. Fu Changdeng gritted his teeth when he heard that. He said, "This is too much. It's only 10,000 in cash, but it's 30,000 in cash. You don't have to exchange. The school doesn't encourage students to exchange money for credits. It's just that some students don't exchange because they have problems even eating and cultivating. That's why they give rich kids like you a chance. Don't talk about me. I'm not even planning to exchange for credits." Fu Changdeng did not think that he needed to exchange for credits when he could not even gather enough credits for eating and cultivating. With his current 95 credits, if he spent money it would be 285 million. It was not like money was worthless. As for Fang Ping, he had just earned 152 credits. If others were to exchange them, they would need 456 million. Adding the 50 basic credits, it would be 606 million in value. It had to be said that Fang Ping had earned a lot in this short amount of time. Of course, if he really wanted to exchange them for money, it would only be 2.02 million. Fang Ping was not stupid. He would definitely not exchange them for money. After some thought, Fang Ping asked, "So, the credits can only be stored with you?" "Of course not. When the martial arts license is issued, you can use it as a campus ID card. The martial arts license is a combination of a student ID card, a campus ID card, and an ID card. It has many uses. Right now, you can only check your credits. If you want to exchange them for pills, you can't for now. Of course, the martial arts license will be issued very soon. The school is very efficient. Don't worry about that." Fang Ping nodded. It was indeed very fast. They had just completed the school assignment, and their credits had already arrived. In terms of efficiency, MC Mayu was commendable. The reason why the martial arts license had not been issued yet was because everyone's strength was different from the previous assessment results. Some students had broken through and become martial artists. These people's strength should be re-evaluated after these 2 days of assessment. Then can we go to the exchange office to take a look? The staff smiled. Of course. Also, for new students like you, the exchange catalog is not open to all. Only some of it is open. Thank you. Fang Ping and Fu Changding did not linger. They hurried to the exchange office in front of them. Their credits could not be used for the time being. They could not exchange for anything, but it was good to take a look. New Students Resource Supply Catalog, Normal Vitality Pill, 3 credits / Pill Rank 1 Vitality Pill, 10 credits / Pill Rank 2 Vitality Pill, 20 credits / Pill Rank 1 Bonehoning Pill, 15 credits / Pill Rank 2 Bonehoning Pill, 30 credits / Pill Rank 1 Viscera Shielding Pill, 20 credits / Pill Rank 2 Viscera Shielding Pill, 60 credits / Pill Weapon E-Class Alloy Weapon, 10 credits / kg D-Class Alloy Weapon, 20 credits / kg. The exchange catalog was clear at a glance. Fang Ping and Fu Changding were even given an exchange catalog each. The person in charge of supplying resources was not an ordinary staff, but a martial artist. Seeing that Fang Ping and Fu Changding were engrossed in the catalog, he chuckled. There aren't many things in the exchange catalog for new students, but it's enough for you guys below rank 3. A rank 1 vitality pill, a bone honing pill, and a viscera shielding pill are definitely enough for an aspiring martial artist to break through to a martial artist. It's also safe enough. These 3 items only cost 45 credits. That's why the school gives you 50 basic credits. Some people might say, "What about my usual cultivation?" That can't be helped. You have to rely on yourself. Otherwise, you can choose not to exchange for the viscera shielding pill. Some people can break through with the rank 1 vitality pill without the viscera shielding pill or the bone honing pill. When you guys break through to rank 1, the school will reward you too. 50 credits will be enough for you to use for a while. Fu Changding said hurriedly. What about us students who enter the school as martial artists? Nothing. The instructor in charge of the exchange said disapprovingly. Breaking through to become a martial artist is your own choice. You'll also have an advantage in the early stages of the competition. Once you become a martial artist, you can choose a good school and a good instructor. This is your own investment. The school won't help you make up for this. Fu Changding and the others became martial artists because their families spent resources. It might seem like a loss, but in reality, if they did not become martial artists and did not perform well, they would not have been given a rank 6 instructor. That's why the school won't compensate them for this. You have to give something in return. If you get something in return, but you don't want to give something in return, there's no such thing. Fu Changding was a little disappointed. 50 credits was not a small amount. He had only gotten 45 credits after being beaten into a pulp. Fang Ping did not care about this. He was not a martial artist yet. After looking at the exchange catalog for a while, Fang Ping asked, Instructor, what does this weapon exchange level mean? Most cold weapons nowadays are forged with alloys. Alloys are divided into hardness and softness, as well as flexibility. You should all know this. That's why they're divided into 5 levels according to their overall strength, A, B, C, D. In reality, there's also F, G and the like, but that's no different from normal steel. Martial artists' weapons can only be used up to 5 levels. Also, weapons come in different sizes, so you can't exchange for one weapon. E-grade alloy weapons are already extremely tough. I wouldn't dare to say that they can cut through iron like mud, but if they were to collide with household knives, the household knives would definitely be damaged. There's no need for you to exchange for these now. The forging of a weapon requires at least 5 kilograms of alloy. Even the cheapest E-grade alloy requires 50 credits. The most important thing now is to become martial artists, learn combat techniques, and master basic theoretical knowledge. When you're in your sophomore year, you can accept missions. It won't be too late to exchange then. I can only accept missions in my sophomore year? Not really. It depends on your strength. I'm talking about the general situation. After all, not everyone can break through to become a martial artist so quickly. The freshman year is for everyone to break through. Then what are the requirements to accept missions? Martial artists are fine, but once you accept missions, you'll be responsible for your own life and death. Don't treat missions like a joke. You'll die for nothing. Under normal circumstances, it's best to wait for the school to organize a few trial missions. After you've gained some experience, then you can accept missions. The instructor answered everything he knew. The school's purpose was to answer questions. Unless it was information that had nothing to do with them, he would answer whatever Fang Ping asked. After leaving the logistics department, Fang Ping shook his head. 200 credits may seem like a lot, but it's only enough for a few rank 2 pills. They're too expensive. Fu Chinding said impatiently. Don't be greedy. Because MCMAU participates in the production of pills, the price of pills is shockingly cheap. A rank 2 viscera shielding pill costs 2 million in the market, but it only costs 60 credits here, which is 600,000. Of course, if you buy it with money it'll cost 1.8 million, which is about the same price as if we buy it ourselves. The school is also trying to stop students from spending money to buy pills for sale. Rank 2 viscera shielding pills were sold for 2 million, but that was only for normal people. Under normal circumstances, 1.8 million was definitely enough if one had the means to buy it. In MCMAU, 60 credits did not seem like much, but if one were to spend money to exchange for credits, it would cost 1.8 million. In this way, MCMAU did not impose any restrictions, but in reality, this was the biggest restriction. Students did not have the qualifications to be second-hand dealers. Fang Ping sighed. He had really earned a lot this time. 202 credits and 10 normal vitality pills were converted to 232 credits. Before he received the credits, Fang Ping's wealth did not increase. However, after the inspection just now, the credits belonged to Fang Ping. His wealth had skyrocketed all of a sudden. 10 minutes ago, Fang Ping's data was as follows: wealth, 1900000 vitality, 209 cal mentality, 210 Hz to maintain peak condition. Fang Ping had been using his wealth to keep his vitality and mentality at peak condition. From the 2.1 million wealth he had the night before, he had spent 200,000 wealth in the previous round. But it was definitely worth it. At this moment, Fang Ping's wealth had increased by a large margin. Wealth, 6640000 vitality, 209 cal mentality, 210 Hz. His wealth had increased by 4.74 million in an instant. 1 credit was equivalent to 20,000 wealth. Of course, if he calculated it this way, he still had an extra 100,000 wealth. On the other hand, Fang Ping's eyes lit up. He realized that the extra 100,000 wealth points probably came from the 10 normal vitality pills. Before this, Fang Ping had calculated that a normal vitality pill could bring him 70,000 wealth points. Now in MCMAU, a normal vitality pill was 3 credits. If 1 credit was 20,000 wealth, there was a difference in the middle. In other words, if Fang Ping exchanged his 202 credits for 67 normal vitality pills, it was very likely that he would have an extra 670,000 wealth. Should I give it a try? Fang Ping was slightly tempted. If he exchanged 67 normal vitality pills now, he could increase his wealth by another 670,000. If he sold these 67 pills, it was very likely that he would make a huge profit, increasing his wealth and cash again. To others, this kind of transaction was not worth it. If they sold it, they would have to spend twice the amount of money to exchange for credits. It would not be profitable. Even if they made a profit, it would be a small amount. It was meaningless. However, Fang Ping was different. If he sold it, he might not make a profit in terms of money compared to credits, but he would earn a lot of wealth in the middle. The key is, if I sell so many pills, will the university target me? If it's through channels, it'll be fine if it's just a small amount. But if I sell so many pills, it won't be a small business. I might have to give them a discount before I can sell them. If that's the case, I won't make a lot of money. The main thing is my wealth. Fang Ping calculated for a while and decided to wait and see. He did not have too many credits at the moment. He did not have channels to buy some pills, such as rank 2 pills. He might need them in the future, so he would keep the credits for now. The main thing was that he had enough wealth for now. It replenished the wealth that Fang Ping had spent these few days. More than 6 million wealth was enough for him to use for a while. I'm off tomorrow. Just nice. I'll go look for the instructor and break through rank 1. Fang Ping was already feeling a little impatient. No matter how powerful a thrice-honed was, it was still a thrice-honed. If he did not use his cheat, Fang Ping might not be a match for Zhao Lei and Fu Changding when he fought them. At least, when it came to a head-on fight, his bone strength was not as strong as the other parties. You're tuning into the Phoenix Knights YouTube channel. Don't forget to subscribe and join us on this journey to catch the most captivating stories.